Gentlemen, gentlemen, we have a very special amount of guests for you today. Today we have two guests. It was supposed to be one, but last time he bitched out, and now we have two. We have taken all the measures necessary in order to ensure full compliance from our two guests here. And one of the things that were done, supposedly, is me getting cancer. But yeah, like this has happened, and they are coming, and it's going to be great. And we have no proper introduction today, so I'm just going to say welcome everybody to the Anime Law, where respect is a suggestion. Let's do this.
I can't believe you did that.
What?
Still trying to figure it out. And we have our first.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Greetings.
Today it's full terrorist house, people.
I see Trillian. You see you invited your other brother?
No, sadly. But he is my brother from another mother. I'm also known as Ali al-Kendari in other circles, so he adopted me.
Of course. Nobody can refuse his cute face.
Of course, naturally. Especially now with the do-over. Aren't I amazing?
Yes.
I like the hat. I'm digging that for sure.
Yeah. Is my voice clear?
No. It's buggy, but it'll do.
How buggy? Like, how buggy? Just tell me.
Well, just get the mic closer. There's some friction, but I assume it's just from the quality of the mic, so it's fine.
Like it sounds like Charizard has throat cancer.
I know. Now it's better?
A little bit better. It'll have to do. Ultimately. Oh, this is just what we need, Trillian. We need more people lagging in the middle of points.
Dude,
it's not my fault.
I have a studio set up at my apartment, but your stream is freaking 7 a.m. here. I don't need to wake up my wife and daughter, all right? So just shut up.
You do need to wake up your wife. Bring her on stream and ask her thoughts on what we're going to be discussing today. It's a very important topic. We need all the perspective we can get.
Yeah, expect that in the next stream very much, yes. Keep your hopes up, yes.
Do you promise? Because remember, we tried to get someone's grandmother last time, and they were so stubborn, so disrespectful.
Dude, do you realize you are talking to an Arab, right?
I do.
Then yeah, like what are you expecting?
Not much. My standards are very low for this entire stream, as you can see. I just started 20 minutes late because we literally probably just all woke up.
Well, yes. Speaking of waking up, is our other guest around, or did you hide somewhere?
He's just waiting like a widow.
Dude, we sent him the invite. Let him just, we sent him the invite first.
Dude, I think he's electric. Let me check out.
Is he meditating? What's happening?
Dude,
we still did not introduce his topic. It's epic.
It was the Duania stream, not like a big stream, like.
No, you know what's happening is he got nervous. He got cold feet at the very end, so he's in the bathroom right now. He locked himself in. He's looking at the mirror, reciting everything he's gonna say in this order, in this tone.
Of your life, he spent like 30 minutes explaining the difference between Yaoi and BL for me. So yeah. Please, just curses upon all of you.
In other words, he'll get here when he gets here.
All
That
right,
was
fair
it.
enough.
Yeah, he said, "Do I call you?" Just send him the invite again. I'll check on him.
Yeah, please, please. While that happens, we
Trillian, I do
promised
want to
today
ask, what made
What?
you make that life-changing decision?
of losing the hair.
Getting the dickhead.
Oh yeah, dude, I've been wanting to go bald for years, but you see, my mother is an anti-bald person. Like, she fought my dad for 20 years to keep the small lumps of hair he still has. Right, so, but now I'm growing bald, and I'm growing bald early, so I have an excuse. So I just did it just to see what happens. My mother isn't happy, but
Amen to that, though. Yeah, I'm growing bald early too.
no, it's great, dude. Best thing I did, dude. My head feels so fucking cool.
And the breeze,
And now wearing
the breeze.
Yes, dude, it's amazing. It's fucking amazing. I will never go back. It's amazing. I
He did not get any invite.
100%. He did not get invites.
Yes.
All right.
Like, it's not an invite.
Hold on. Did I fuck this up? Yep. God damn it, hat. Yeah. Obey. There we go. Okay. If he's not getting invites,
Can I invite him? Can I?
yes, you
All right.
can. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can invite him manually. Just
Yeah, we can all invite him. I mean, I invited him twice.
All right.
why would that? People are asking, why would people go bald? Are you guys nuts, dude? Bald
would've
is
gone bald.
great.
But then I have to sleep in the living room.
Yeah, see, there's some racism between women and people going bald. I don't know why.
That's
Maybe
weird.
it's just
Why
going.
not option to add people to the stream? There is none.
If you go up to the top bar, do you have the bar on top? It's the one to the farthest to the left. It says invite people.
It's a chat, screen share, showcase, Q&A, and control room. That's his word.
No, not that one. It's the one at the top of the screen. Do you not have it, or?
Yeah, I do. It just says mute microphone, turn off camera, just bandwidth settings, and leave call. That's it.
You're using the phone, right?
No, I'm using my laptop.
Oh,
I think it
should be there.
Oh, this is weird. Like, I don't know. Okay, invite him, Ali. Invite him.
All right. Hold on.
I think you. Yeah, you maybe missed the spelling or something.
All right. Let me just find his email or something.
I sent you.
Is he doing it on his phone?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send him the link via WhatsApp then.
Yeah.
It's more convenient. Tell him to check his phone, or maybe he is. I don't know.
I somehow got rid from my own stream. That's always fun.
All right. Somebody invading your stream. There's a fourth screen showing up here.
All right, there we go.
Wait, I'll figure this out. Okay, there we go. Let me take this. Post that there.
Are we live yet? No. That was stupid.
Yep, he should be here anytime. He got the link. All right, so people are asking if we're going to open the stream again. Maybe, maybe not. Only time will tell. You never know when these things happen. We like to keep you guys fresh, so tune in, see what happens. And we have a guest here, and you're upside down, so can you flip your shit, Mr. Khalid?
Oh, it's funny because I think you guys are supposed to be.
Oh, he's here.
Yes, just get closer to your shit, and if you can use a mic or like something like this, it will be better because it gets sound out.
And if you can please
okay, is this better?
do this.
Is good? You know what? I'm just gonna stay upside down. It's fine. It's a
All
messed
right.
up conversation.
Alrighty then.
Yes, let's
Alright.
get started.
All right.
So, would you like to introduce yourself, my good sir?
Yes, please. Both of you introduce yourselves, please.
Okay, so the least reputable person should go first. Aziz, you go.
Hello, people of the internet. My name is Aziz, and also known as Darkrai Q8. I'm a YouTuber who has a gay channel. I mean, Pokemon channel. Yes, Pokemon channel. I do Pokemon YouTube stuff. So yeah.
Nice to meet you, Aziz. This is a safe place.
Very
This
safe.
is a safe space, yes.
Very safe place, yes. So, my name is Khaled. I don't have a YouTube channel or anything else known to the public. I like to go as Ralosvek, very long and confusing story. It's very boring. And I am the self-proclaimed resident national expert on all anime gay related. And I am proud of that. I hold that title unprovenly and undisputedly.
Dude, that guy spent like 30 minutes explaining the difference between BL and Yaoi on breakfast.
5
Because
minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It was a short
I
breakfast.
assume that's what happens when you're an expert on the subject.
It is, yes. I made hentai interesting to Aziz, which is very interesting. And you can't lie. You know I made it interesting.
Well, maybe you can do the rest. You can make it interesting for the rest of us and the fans. They're anime fans, so they love Chinese cartoons, doing it with
Good.
one another.
In the comment, somebody says Khalid is the inferior version of DJ Khalid.
I've been waiting my whole life for that coming, and it hasn't come now. Finally. Took you long enough, internet.
Well, what I'm more interested in is the topic that I brought you here for. Khalid, we'll get to Aziz's topic later, but first let's do Khalid, which is I want like him to talk about his like the history of hentai, which is what his field of expertise naturally, because like we never did anime content in the anime law. Now that I think about it, and it's a good idea just to freshen up. Like, tell us about the history of hentai, Mr. Khalid. That sounds like a great topic to share with the anime community.
Sure. Very well. And I'd just like to say that I've done previous research. In fact, I'm sleeping over at Aziz's place, and I realized that a week is not enough to do research on hentai. Nowhere near enough. I take this shit seriously. I take very, very seriously. You know. I think let's start with the word hentai. You know, hentai is an interesting word. Like the actual meaning of it. I see. Yeah, stop distracting me, dude. Come on, this is serious. This is serious content. With playing in the humanities. This is what I do.
Let's define hentai.
Okay, yes. Language is an important place to start. You know. By the way, should I look at the phone's camera or is it very distracted? I'm looking at myself. Anyway.
Look straight into the camera. Let people see your soul.
Okay. Soul. Anyway, so hentai, the actual word means weird. Okay, so if you hear someone say hen, that means like they're saying something weird. So when we say hentai, we think, oh, the word means weird. Then that is relevant to like porn. But the interesting thing is, I think hentai only exists as a word for a genre now. Like, okay, so have any of you three watched any hentais?
Never.
I cannot confirm or deny this.
Okay, so I'll be the actual brave one here. I've watched a lot. In fact, I was watching yesterday and today. Okay, so
For research.
Yeah, no, research for sure. No, research. Like I was sure I was aroused, but like I was like on point. I was still watching it. I was like, okay, next video. Interesting. I took notes. I have notes here. You can't see clearly, but like I wrote a lot. This is just page 1. So, okay. So now when people, whoever in the audience watches hentai, and I know you do, and I probably know some of your favorites. That's it. I'm gonna throw a name out there. Bible Black. A like for every person who's watched Bible Black, the original
Really?
one, not
Dude,
New
out of
Testament.
all the things, Bible Black is so shit, man.
Well, Trillion, if
Okay.
you're such an expert, why don't you educate us?
Dude, the plot did not make sense. My dick got confused.
Okay, true. It is interesting. Although I use Bible Black as because the interesting thing about researching hentai is that no one has a list of the timeline of all the hentais, so it's kind of hard to find out what came first. You have to just hope that some other degenerate out there is as interested in it as you are.
I respect
So-
your self-awareness, Khalid. I'm just saying that.
Look,
Yes,
self-awareness
hooray.
is the first road to recovery, and I'm not recovering, so.
Can I ask you this before you go on? What do you think is the superior art form? Pornography or hentai?
Okay, interesting. Superior art form. Well, okay, there's multiple things to an art form. In this case, visual. So there's the quality of the acting, the actual directing of the scenes, the actual lighting and what visuals you see, the colors, the shading, and then there's the actual sex itself. Judging on all of those things, I would definitely say hentai wins because hentai hentai previous from, let's say, 2001, the 90s, 80s, and possibly some 70s had a far better plot. And the thing is, with animation will always be real life and just visual aesthetic. So hentai wins.
Panel,
Now,
do the rest of you agree?
yeah.
I haven't watched anything from the 90s or prior or whatever, so I cannot say, but
Well, then strap in because he's about to tell us all about it.
yes, please educate us. What about the 90s and the 80s? What did they have? What made them have superior plot, please?
Just in case you were wondering, someone in the comments is actually writing their college thesis on hentai, so you're going to be a huge help for their research.
If that's actually true, I am honored, and I know the struggle. I've done multiple things. I've researched on like yaoi, which is gay romance in comic and visual art form, and it was hard trying to research.
Let's take it one step at a time, Junior.
Okay, sure.
Legendary
One section
quote
out
is,
the other time.
I know the struggle. Like, I know. How do you feel, brother, fam? The struggle is real.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Person in the comments, I'm with you. Anyway, so let's get started. I'd like to start at the beginning. Actually, I found an interesting fun fact. The first hentai or visual pornographic material that doesn't have actual people was made in 1932. Something called Suzumi Bune, Cool Ship. And it's just pencil drawings of two women who take off their clothes and flash themselves to a sailor, and that's it. And I don't know anyone who has actual footage of it. It was actually banned, but like now it's a collector's thing. So that's an interesting fun fact. 1932, the birth of hentai. Now, the interesting thing about hentai is people who watch hentai think that hentai is basically a porn. But that's actually not true. I think it's better to look at hentai as a genre that evolved into what we know now. To explain this, what if I told you, this is like the Morpheus meme thing here. What if I told you that hentai as a porn only existed as a concept from, let's say, 2000 onwards, and what you would call hentai in the 90s and 80s was just basically adult content, like an adult show, like let's say Game of Thrones, exact equivalent. It might have sex, it might have genitalia, but it is not porn. It actually has deep plots, producers putting a lot of budget into this, and it's fascinating. Some things you might like. Let's say if anyone knows anything about a show called Golgo 13, famous thing from manga from the 70s and then made into let me read my notes, 1998, and then there's a movie in 1983. Now the show is about like a hitman who has god level sniping skills. Now the interesting thing about this is that this show didn't have a lot of sex. I know, I watched it just yesterday. I have it on my hard drive. It has maybe 5 minutes of sex total, and they don't show the whole act. It's only the beginning. They introduce the characters. Then, like in the middle, they just show like the beauty of the artwork, the sweat, the dark shading, and then just the finish at the end. No, not the orgasm, the finish afterwards. Yeah,
The afterglow.
Yeah, the afterglow. It's quite interesting. Okay, the afterglow. Beautiful.
Is there a reason why they don't show the actual orgasm, or was the art just not developed to that extent yet?
Well, no, it's not. The art was not developed. Although the interesting thing is that some hentais, if you watch them online, you'll notice some hentais are censored and some are not. Actually, this is a good place. What am I doing? Okay, so the interesting thing about censorship, in Article 175 of the Criminal Code of Japan, I did my research. No, where's it here? Classified as the distribution of indecent material. Now, this basically means that it is illegal to sell or import in Japan basically male and female genitalia. You cannot show them on screen. You can filter them out. Now, there are 3 types of filters that people use. The mosaic filter, which is basically you see small little pixels around the genitalia in question. And the purpose of this is that since it's all blurred out, and you can only see a rough color outline, you can't make distinct outlines. Like, you can't see the line. Like my face right now, you can see the line of my face goes around here. But if there were pixels, the colors blur together, so you can't accurately make out what's happening. I'm bringing a new level of professionalism to this. Yes.
Can I choke myself to death?
Please keep going. Please, no. I just you lost me at the Article 175. Why do you know this?
If you watch a hentai, just watch one hentai, then you'll get it. Okay, anyway. So, okay. Look. Okay. No. Okay. So if anyone in the chat doesn't know what I'm talking about, pixelated, just tell me because I can't open it. Yeah.
Everybody know what pixelated and mosaic mean. Just carry on.
Yeah, mosaic. It's called a mosaic filter. Now, many people don't like doing this because it kind of ruins the aesthetic. Like, they draw the human body to look beautiful. Like, no one wants to watch a porno where everyone is ugly, fat, overweight people.
Yeah, well, Trillion.
That is a thing.
What do you want from me?
But anyway, okay. Moving on. The next type of censorship is the black and white bars. It's literally where they just stick what looks the equivalent of like just black tape all over something. So if it was a manga, like a comic, they would just get black or white out and just put a line right over it. And they try to cover as the smallest legal minimum possible.
That's a more traditional form of censorship, correct?
Yeah, yes. And let's see, it's traditional. It would
Because we
definitely
see that here in the States a lot.
Yes. No, I'm familiar with that. Yeah, that's one like magazine covers where they might cover some parts maybe. Now, the good thing about this is that you only cover the absolute minimum, so you don't ruin the rest of the aesthetic of the human body. You just cover the dick, but everything else is fine. It's good looking. You're good to go. Although the problem is if it's like animated, you're seeing like artwork in color, and then you see this black rectangle coming out of a man's crotch. And you're like, what the hell am I watching? And why is she enjoying the sharp edges being plunged into her? The third kind of censorship, which is my personal favorite, which is whitening, which is basically where you just rub off the actual genitalia, so it looks like it would look like nothing existed anything there, and it just has disintegrated into white ash. That's a terrible description. Okay. Anyway, the good thing about this, and it's interesting, is that when you remove the actual visual of something, you don't even like leave a rectangle. It's just not existent. It forces the user to use their mind to try to understand what's going on. So what's interesting in this part is that if I'm watching a porn, I'm not really interacting with it whatsoever. I'm just receiving information, dick, vagina. Okay, I'm watching it. It goes inside. Okay, it goes outside. Okay. But when you don't see it, your mind has to work a little bit extra to understand what's going on. And that actually, I think, helps to enjoy it, the viewing of the hentai even more.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And the interesting thing about filter and censorship is that it's done as a final step, because you can't sell the original versions of hentai in Japan, because no one makes a porno with censorship in the beginning. They first finish everything in production, and then they just add the filter at the end. So if you're asking why do I sometimes see hentai without censorship, it's because producers, what they would do is that they would sell the original version overseas, like in the US. So the key thing to remember is if you see censorship, this was the original copy that was sold in Japan. If you don't see censorship, then you're watching an overseas release. So the lesson here is never watch anything from Japan. They suck.
But wait, what?
That we can agree on. That we can agree
bring
on.
a new level of class.
Wait,
I
don't.
see that.
Wait,
I'm a
Don't-
boon on you.
but don't
Oh,
watch
no.
anything from Japan. But Japan is where all the good hentai comes from. I've been told. Obviously.
Yeah,
No.
Never go to the original source. Always watch from outside.
Oh,
Do you look? Do you want to see the vagina or not?
Oh, you.
Look, it's either yes, you want to see it, or you don't want to see it. You want to see random pixels? Gotta watch it from Japan. You crank off to that pixelated images and like random cubes. You're like, wait, does that mean the dick is like 3 inches out from where it should be? No. Yeah,
Wait,
Name
but
I
stuff.
just, okay, now I understand. So if you want the good stuff, the good stuff, you cannot
Yes.
be present in Japan when watching it because it gets censored there because of Article 175.
Yes, of the
That is how
criminal
my
code.
notes have been correlating.
Oh,
okay.
you have no.
No, I
you have
came
no-
to school ready today, Trillion. I'm not sure what you were doing.
Oh, I already got my fix. Don't worry about that. I'm bringing this guy in to give you enlightenment.
Okay, and I
But-
hope everyone else in the comments is taking notes because this will be on the exam.
So
Okay.
let, let me get this straight. So
Wait, wait. Right now, I feel like us talking about anime is useless. Like after this, you cannot beat this. This should have been the ending. Like right now, all of us are useless. Like what
What comes
No,
next?
that's not true.
what
Because
comes
there's,
next? Yes, what we do here? Why am I here?
I haven't even done an in-depth research into the hentai of each decade, and then we still have yaoi.
Dude,
Which I can go on forever.
Khaled is an expert
wow.
on yaoi. Go, just tell them what you told me this morning. Just go. Screw My Hero Academia, whatever that is. Yeah, go ahead, Khaled.
Wait, no, I'll get to that. Let me finish the hentai thing, okay? No, I
Oh,
really
it's not
want.
done yet. It's not
No.
done yet.
I'm not. I haven't even dipped into the sperm pool, the surface the sperm pool. That is hentai. I'm just a little sperm like swimming in the center, like, oh, what's this? And then I look through, and it's a fucking iceberg. Like, oh my god, that's huge. Pun intended. Shit, where am I going? Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
But,
Oh, this is
hold
just
on.
the first
I have a
slide on the
question.
PowerPoint.
Yes. Questions. Yeah. Yes.
It's you're saying like, do you want to see the vagina or not? I thought hentai was about the beauty of the scene, not about like.
It depends on the year. Okay. This is a good transition. Okay. So I previously talked about the beauty of hentai. Yeah, that's true. But now we're talking about just sex and just gratification. Okay, this is good. So people. Okay. So when people watch porn, it's just you want to see like people like bodies slapping into each other, and then just the finish. That's true. It's quick. It's like maybe like 5 minutes, and then done. Okay. Now hentai. Now, as I previously said, when we say hentai now, we think of porn. But let's say let me pull out. No pun intended. Okay. So there's a movie that was made in 1987 called Wicked City. Okay. Now the person who made this, the original writer of the story was the man who made Vampire Hunter D. If anyone knows that, I know there's some audiences in America who's watched Vampire Hunter D. So this guy makes worlds where it's all about like the supernatural, like vampires, demons, and a lot of these themes they have how would I put it? The creatures have grotesque and super inhuman representation of the human body. Like you see a woman having sex with a man, and then her vagina turns into a spider trap, and then it turns out, oh, she's actually half spider, and then it just freaks you out. Now, Wicked City is it has a dark palette of colors choice. It's dark palette means that it's very the colors are dark. The only bright sources of brightness that come in the movie are like lights that shine in the background. Like you can imagine a scene where a guy is sitting in a car and he's driving, and then there's just lights flashing on the window, and it's supposed to show like the loneliness and like the intrigue and darkness and danger all around us in a dark city left alone. Now, this movie has sex. They don't show the full scene of sex. Why? Because it's not important to the plot of the movie. Now, the plot of the movie is irrelevant for discussion, but what is interesting is that it's an 18-minute OVA. It's a pretty nice movie. I liked it. It's interesting. The main thing that this was made for release, not to be viewed as pornographic, although there are pornographic scenes. It's a movie. That's the thing to keep in mind. This is a movie. Now you can go forward or no, actually backwards, sorry, to the classic, and this is the classic, Urutsukudoji, or Legend of the Overfiend in the US release.
I knew it.
Yes. You've heard of this?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Legend of the Overfiend. 1987 or the 1970s. I have this. Okay, apparently I wrote the date as 19870. Okay, so this was released in 19870. Yeah, we're almost there. We're only 12,000 years away. Anyway, this is the beginning of what we might call hentai as possible porn. Because now the confusing thing about this is that there is a lot of sex, and in this we see that there's a beginning to sex and there's transitions, and you go through the entire process of sex. There's the kind of the foreplay, like getting into it, setting the mood, the scene, there's the lighting, the aesthetics of it. Then there is the the actual act of sex, and then the finish. But they might cut out unnecessary bits just for the sake of time. But you see the whole process, and sex has a lot to do with it. In fact, people often say that Urutsukudoji, or Legend of the Overfiend, started or popularized the use of tentacle porn. So the ancestor of all tentacle porn is Legend of the Overfiend. Yes, and there's multiple movies. I think there's 3 movies. Although it kind of takes a departure from the original manga, but there is a storyline which they commit to, and if you count the hours of sex versus no sex, the ratio is far greater than what you would think. Let's say in a hentai, the ratio of sex versus no sex, the ratio might be 2-1. In Legend of the Overfiend, it's more like 4-1. 4-1? Yeah, I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass. I'm just saying it's just a rough estimate. 4-1, let's say 5-1. So there's more time they put in investing into a story than actual sex. Can you call that a porno?
Ooh, it's critical thinking time, guys.
It's a trick question.
Trillion, give me the answer. Psst.
It's yes.
I'll go with yes.
Okay, well, you just failed that exam. Yeah, okay. That's
Aziz, what do you think?
I had hopes for this, and then
What?
Yeah.
What was the question, man? I'm trying to block this out of my, like
No, pay
I don't want
attention.
to live. I don't want to dream of this like tonight.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it, Aziz. Just let it in.
Dude,
Pun intended.
I'm a man of the family,
Okay,
No.
if anything, that just means you need to watch this even more. You're a family man. You need an outlet.
You need the experience, huh?
You need release. You need
You're
release.
missing out.
You are.
Dude.
Don't
I'm
limit
not gonna
yourself.
go. I'm not. What experience can I get from hentai? I'm not gonna go 3 dicks that tentacle something. No.
Look, if that's your thing, I do not shame. I do not kink shame. I do not kink shame. I do not.
Can I
Unless there is maybe like 3 things I will shame you for, and this was not one of them.
3 things.
Yeah,
I
there are
want to
3
hear
things.
them. Just go.
Okay, the 3 things that I will always shame is bara yawe, which is basically body. Okay, imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger having sex with Dwayne Johnson, but Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator age, like Terminator 2.
So muscled up people, gurgling with each other.
Isn't that just the free anime, or like what people think the free anime will eventually turn into?
Wait, isn't that JoJo?
Like lean muscles. No. I'm thinking bodybuilders.
So like Dragon Ball Z characters.
I'm thinking like 2 Brolys.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for getting that image stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Very
yeah. You don't even know. Trust me, you're safe. I actually know what it looks like. It's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. I shame you all for that.
All right, that's number 1. All right.
Number 2 is shit. It was something to do with certain depictions of father and daughter incestuous relationship. That, I don't know. It's when it's done right, it's great. When it's done horribly, it's just disgusting.
When it's done right.
No. Just carry on. Number three. It's disgusting.
Okay. Number 3 is shit. What is number 3? Basically adolescent boys having sex with older men. Or
So
otherwise
Boku no
called
Pico.
shota.
So Kevin
Yeah, Boku no
Spacey, the anime.
Boku no Pico. Screw Boku no Pico. Terrible. Like honestly, gay porn can be done way better. It's can be far more tasteful.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I
those
was
are my
not aware
three.
taste was part of this
Alright,
discussion.
All right, Khaled. Question from the comments said, "What about lollies and what is photonaris? I don't know what that is. Just
Dari, a person of fine taste, I see. Okay, yes,
I wanna
Futnari is a
hide.
personal favorite of mine.
okay. Give us a definition. Start with the definition. We know
Okay,
what lolly
so
is, but what is
Lolly,
photonari?
okay, so lolly comes from the term lolita, which now I don't know the etymology, the history of the word itself, but I believe it's Latin in origin, and it basically means a young girl, let's say between the ages of 10 to 12, like just before puberty. It has that beauty of youth and almost like the beginning into womanhood, but not quite there yet. So that's lolly, and this is interesting, is that lolly, the attraction of it is that it's mostly meant for men, but it can be made for women. And okay, now how should I say this? The reason why it attracts women is because it feeds off the kind of like the kind of biological need to care for a young child, and you think it's beautiful. Like humans are programmed to think small things that have round eyes or round features are cute, like babies. And that's why Mickey Mouse is considered cute, because big round cheeks, round circles, big eyes. Those are things we are programmed to think are cute. Now, for men, the interesting thing, and this is just a rough explanation, I'm not a psychotherapist, but lolly feeds off two conflicting sides of men. It combines the instinct to sexually possess something you consider interesting or attractive, and it combines it with the paternal need to protect. Now, that's not to say that you want to fuck every 12-year-old girl. I'm not saying that, but you kind of do.
Huh?
It kind of is,
Let's
and
move
isn't.
on.
And that's when it's done. When it's like in anime or manga form. This is what it's doing. It's combining these two feelings of like, I need to have her, but I want to protect her from like the outside world. You
Dude,
probably
stop.
you probably
Dude,
understand
stop.
what it's like, but less on the sexual side. You have a
Fuck
thing
you,
with family.
Khaled.
I'm not saying you want to have sex with your daughter. I'm not saying you do. But
move fucking on to the other thing. All right.
You're
okay.
gonna get flagged so hard.
Don't go there. Don't
Yeah,
go there,
I bet
Khaled.
you're happy you brought me in here. Yeah, so happy to fight it.
But I understand what you're saying, Khaled. I understand where you're coming through.
I mean, it's very complicated. It's if it's like a hentai or just manga or anime, it's done differently. If it's anime, it's done in a way that it balances the two together, but there's no feeling of like, oh, I want to like sexually gratify myself. But then when it's done in hentai form, you're like, no, it's basically sex. So it's depends really. The next thing, futanari. No, okay. I was so happy when I heard this.
Oh,
So
God.
futanari.
Is it worse?
Come,
Or don't tell me it's worse.
sorry, what?
I don't know what that is. So
Yeah, I'm gonna explain it. Okay, so futanari Now I forgot which part means what, but basically it translates into two kinds. Okay. Basically, an explanation of futanari is that imagine a woman with a penis. Now, that's not to say a man who got a sex change is now a trans woman. No, it is a biological woman that has a dick.
Eh.
Yeah, let that soak in. Let that soak in.
Like-
Let that paradox.
Like
The real lady.
born-
The real.
she's born with a dick.
Stop
Well,
making
and-
fun of Caitlyn Jenner. She is beautiful, people.
Okay. Guys. Okay.
Like,
Although, actually,
like that woman is born with a dick. This is what you mean.
no, Aziz, you're trying to make sense of this. This is not reality. This is fantasy. Okay, it's okay. Sometimes she's born. It depends. Sometimes she's born with a dick. Sometimes it's a magical curse. Bible Black, episode 4.
Oh.
Episode
So
4.
whenever God put curse on that woman, I'm gonna bestow a dick upon you because you're a slut. Like this kind of
It could
fantasy.
be anything. It's the imagination of the producer. Maybe it's a curse. Maybe it's just a superpower. Maybe it's just an alternate reality in the future where all women have dick to continue the species because there's no men. The point is not how she gets. The point is, it is okay. So the reason why people enjoy porn is twofold. One, there is a person there who represents you. So if you're a guy watching a porno of a man having sex with a woman, you're imagining, oh, I am in the place of that man pleasuring that woman. Or the second part of it is I enjoy seeing a woman pleasured by a man because not because I'm focusing on the man, but more like, oh, this is my thing, straight sex. I enjoy it. If you were gay, you would enjoy 2 men having sex. If you were a lesbian, you'd enjoy 2 women having sex. So futanari is interesting because you see, and this is strictly for straight men. Like I don't really think a lot of women would watch futanari. Now the reason why straight men watch futanari is because you see 2 women. Oh, amazing. And they're both good looking. I would love this already. But they also have a dick. So I can understand the pleasure that's being felt. I can relate to this. A dick. I have a dick. I understand what this feels like. Thus, I'm enjoying it even more.
You're moving too fast for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me put this way. 2 women kissing each other. Do you enjoy that? Step by step.
Do I enjoy 2 women?
Kissing each other, like really just passionate and just like they're beautiful, and the moans, the soft moans. Does that seem appealing to you?
Yes, so far so good.
Okay. Do you this is me assuming. Okay, let's just assume everyone here is straight. Just for a second. Let's assume. Anyway. Do you enjoy penis in vagina?
Why did that take so long for you to
No,
express?
because I was about to do this, and I'm like, wait, this is really weird. Why am I thinking? So yeah, and I thought, wait, do I put it in? And I'm like, no, let's not do that. Look, okay, just answer the question: penis in vagina, yes or no?
Yes.
Wait a
So-
second. Just point of reference. Like Khalid, when he talks to me, he said, "You straight men, like I'm something filthy." So just a point of reference. Like here,
One discussion at a time. One discussion at a time.
Alright.
Anyway. So now we have established that you like women kissing each other and dick and vagina. So some genius guy figured out, hey, what if we just literally put those 2 together? And that's what futanari is. So when you're watching futanari, 2 things are happening. One, you're enjoying 2 women having sex. Oh yeah, that's really hot. Like it. But also, there's a dick in there. So you can actually relate to it. You can understand what this feels like. So you get to enjoy two things happening at the same time.
However, could one of the characters not just put on a strap on and go from there? They don't actually need to have the. I realize that's a little bit more creative, but
right. Okay. Well. Okay. Here's the thing.
Maybe it's not your kink, Louis. It's not yours. You know, your kink. But
Yeah.
Khaled,
you're dying over there, aren't you?
No, this is a good
Khaled,
question.
you know,
It just
and the
what?
sound and yeah.
No, I want this broken down to the I want this broken down to the bone.
Okay.
As
To the
as
bone.
possible.
Yeah.
To the bone. Okay. So the interesting. Okay. So basically, the question here is, if I just enjoy things being put into women, then why couldn't it just be a strap-on? Why does it have to be a penis? Good question. Now, if I had to guess, and I haven't done a lot of time thinking about this, basically the reason. So when you see a strap-on, a woman wearing a strap-on and having sex with another woman, there's very little you can relate to. Like, the interesting thing about humans is that we can, if we see something we understand, it may not be happening to us, but we feel it. Let's say if you see someone being happy and you like that person, you're friends with them, you feel happy as well. But that person is the one experiencing the happiness. But you feel it as well because you understand it. You have the ability to see something. And if it has happened to you or you have some understanding, you will feel it as well. Now, if a woman is wearing a strap-on, you aren't there's nothing really to relate to, because one, you are not a woman who had sex with a strap-on or a dildo, and two, you've never known, well, usually you've never known what it feels like to have a strap-on and have sex with someone. So there's nothing to relate to.
Usually.
You know. I don't kink unless the three. I'm just saying. So anyway, so you can't relate to a lot to it, so you're not enjoying it as much. Now, as soon as you see a penis, you're like, penis in vagina. I know what this feels like. I enjoy this now. I can relate to it, and thus, I see something I understand, and now I feel some of the pleasure, despite the fact I'm not experiencing it. So that's why sometimes you want to see a dick instead of a strap-on. It's just that instant mental ability to go like, oh, I understand this. Click. I'm enjoying this.
Sure, let's go with that.
Look, yes. I know this is.
I must contemplate this further. This is very foreign to me at the moment.
Just think about it. Like, just observe just behaviors of people and how they interact with each other. You know, just like, oh, they're enjoying each other's company, even though only one person won something. That's interesting. And then just relate that to everything else, you know? Anyway, so I suppose that's the definition of lolly and futanari. Kind of.
Oh, someone in the comments asked, they're asking you to speak on the philosophy of hentai. I suppose that means why it exists and why it's so popular. Why people feel the need to watch it so much.
Okay. Simple answer. Sex is good. We like. That's boom. Done. Okay. The complicated answer. Why does hentai exist? God, I mean, why does... I like to always think that the reason why everything exists is because some schmuck millions of years in the past had a single original thought, and then all ideas come from that. But okay, so the evolution of hentai. I think this kind of goes back to what I've been failing to explain, is that hentai evolved. It was like people just wanted to make and produce animations, and they were meant for an adult viewing. Okay, like Wicked City is not meant for 6-year-old kids. Like, I once watched something that was made for like 18 plus years, and it haunted me for 12 years. I was scared of the rain for a very long time. Kids, never watch the movie X. Don't. Just don't. It's a terrible mistake. Anyway. So shit, I lost myself. Okay.
I bet that happens
I was
often.
so prepared for this, and then. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So. Okay. I'll give 3 examples, like timelines. Okay. 1987, Wicked City. That I previously said, it's a movie. There's a plot line. There's a story. The main focus is the storyline of like peace between humans and demons. Is there sex? Sure, but like it's only because it fits the story that there's a romantic relationship. They would have sex, but they don't focus on it. Let's move forward. Let's go to 1994, the classic Rape Man. Yes, it's literally called Rape Man. It's a guy wearing like some kind of wrestling luchador mask, and he rapes women to help them in life. He straightens out women by raping them.
Oh, so
no, and they grow as people
no,
right after.
so
Like
no, so the
like
Japanese
after the rape, they become like mature, responsible adults and like live a happy life.
wait, so the Japanese were fixing SJWs before it was cool?
Oh,
They weren't SJWs, but sure, the closest comparison, yes. Okay.
Trillion,
Got it. Now I can.
Trillion, you're triggering the feminists too much. You know, even they are anime fans. So
Yeah, dude,
Oh no,
dude.
no. They are not. Trust me, there are very, very few animes that they would approve of.
well, what about High Guardian Spice? That new Crunchyroll original.
I
Good.
already
No
hate
one's
it.
heard of it. Then we can move on.
Yeah. So okay, so Rape Man, 1994. It was an OVA. Only one. No, actually, no. There were multiple episodes released. Maybe like maximum of 5. Although don't quote me on this. Quote me on everything else except this. So it's drawn in a very interesting way. Dark backgrounds kind of faded in the back, and the characters are drawn in very bright, distinctive colors to separate themselves from the background. Now, the reason why I focus on artwork a lot is because you can tell a lot about what's important in anime or hentai by how it's drawn. For example, let me use something people can relate to. If anyone has seen Tom and Jerry, like old classic Tom and Jerry, you'd have just a plain background where everything's drawn and nothing happens to it. Like you see tables, couches, chairs, but no one's doing anything with it. But then suddenly you see a lamp that's drawn a little differently, a bit more brightly. And then Tom grabs the lamp and tries to throw at Jerry. And this is a technique that artists do, is that first what they do is they would draw a background and they would lay it in on a sheet of paper, and then on top of it they would draw get another piece of paper and draw characters, so that there's 2 different drawings. Now this is done to save time because you don't want to hand draw and animate every single detail. You just want to leave a background and then have things on top of it. And you can tell by how things are drawn, the budget of certain hentais, by how they're drawing. If they're drawn darker, then you can see that it's cost efficient, because a lot of hentais and animes, they have low budgets, and many animators chose certain effects not because they thought, oh, this is revolutionary shit. It's like, no, we didn't have a budget, but thank you guys for liking this shit and thinking we're actually smart. We're not. We're just thrifty as fuck because we have to. So Rape Man has it's drawn to have its characters to be the most interesting visually. So you focus on those. Now, is there a lot of sex? Yeah, actually, the entire plotline is just about sex. The ratio of sex to non-sex is 1 to 0. It's all about the sex. It's all about the rape. The actual plotline of Rape Man is that he's the equivalent of a hitman. People call, say, hey, can you rape my daughter? she's really like bratty. Can you fix her? It's like, yeah, sure. Okay. So he
Oh,
goes.
so he's like a superhero. He's like Batman. You
He
call him
is-
up when somebody needs to get straightened out.
He is a true vigilante and national hero. Okay, he helps women mature by raping them, and instantly you see their relationships and their lives just become so much better, so much richer, and like they get to live their life as productive citizens. So rape man.
I just imagine, instead of seeing the bat, spotlight in space, you see a dick in space.
A
No,
dick
he wears
going
the-
into a vagina.
Yes, like this. Yeah. It's not the hero we need. It's the hero the women deserve.
There
Like-
we go.
I just remember the story. Some woman is being raped in an alley, and then some guy, a gay rapist, jump on the regular rapist, raped him, saving.
That is the greatest headline I've ever seen.
Like
I remember this.
a gay rapist saving a woman by raping the straight rapist.
A woman's rapist stops a rape by raping the rapist.
There's always a
Um,
bigger fish.
There's a question in the comment section about your opinion, Khalid, about the rape scenes in Berserk.
Oh, here we go. Watch out.
Oh, god
Oh,
damn.
look at him light up. Oh, yes.
Oh no, but Berserk is I personally love what I would call Shakespearean tragedy, where it's Shakespeare was a genius because he realized that the greatest thing that unites people is not happy stuff; it's the terrible stuff that makes you hate life. Because we might not all like the same thing, but most of humanity would like just cringe at seeing your family murdered and raped.
Most people.
Most people, there's always those one or two individuals who are like, yeah, they had it coming, bitches. Anyway, so Berserk is, without giving any spoilers, focuses on themes of betrayal, vulnerability, and trauma. Like, oh man, you just get traumatized so badly if you're not prepared for this. Beautiful, beautiful. And it also, I would suggest that people watch the original anime, not the new one. Original. Far better soundtrack. I just listen to that and I just cry on command. Beautiful. I once read a book on a genocide while listening to the soundtrack, and it beautiful. Just you know that meme where like in Emperor's New Groove where he goes, just right. It was just right. Anyway, so what are my opinions on the rape scenes? Okay. The sex in Berserk is not used for the purpose of, oh yeah, it's really hot. Yeah, I really enjoy this. You can't see my hand, but anyway. So the purpose of the rape scene in Berserk is to just rip your heart out and crush it. It's meant to disgust you and to like just think life is terrible and to just feel this utter devastation. And in this one,
Wait,
why am I
No.
doing
What happened?
as I said, like rape intensifies. We got blocked by the CIA.
that? Okay. So
They've
Okay,
heard
so
enough.
okay, so when I watch, I'll explain my experience of the rape in Berserk, and then I'll say how it applies to everyone else. When I watched the rape scene in Berserk, I had grown attached to the character. I saw this character develop and change as a person, and they start to realize their own self-worth, and you just love this character. Like, oh man, you were on a journey with this character as much as they were on a personal journey. So you were growing as a person along with this person. So whenever they feel sad, you feel sad. Whenever they feel happy, you feel happy. you share in their joy and their torment. So when the scene came that they were raped, you felt the horror of it. And if I had to put it into one word, injustice. Most people in the world can relate to injustice. Let's say it could be something small as you pay for food and they don't give you your change back, you know? And injustice. That seems like a terrible example. Or in this case, someone you love is raped and there's no punishment for it. That's unfair. And the anime uses that. So the rape in Berserk is it's a device used to entertain the audience, to grip them and to hold them into watching it, because you're so fixated on this feeling that you can't look away. But it's terrible, but you enjoy it at the same time. And I'm a fan of this. If you can traumatize your audience the right way, you have a bestseller.
Brian Fox.
Yes.
Okay.
Look. Either you ask a question, you agree with me, or you disagree. Choose one.
No, I totally agree with you in terms of, you know, anime uses like sometimes that just, you know, bland character so you can project yourself onto, or like some generic idea like injustice. Like, I can relate to this. I got scammed in my, you know, last purchase on Amazon or something. Injustice. Like, I can see where this comes from.
The injustice isn't about relating, because let me put it this way. Aziz, have you ever been raped? This is where you lie.
I'm not prepared for this.
Okay, so let's presume you were never raped. I don't know. I cannot prove nor deny you were ever raped. But let's say you're watching something. You're watching someone getting raped. Not in real life, you know, in visual form. You feel something. Now, you're not relating to someone getting raped because you've never been raped. You feel disgust because your design, it's empathy. It's just empathy. That's all it is. They use empathy to hook you in, but not empathy to enjoy, but rather empathy to suffer because other people are suffering.
Here's the thing. The example you gave me can literally apply to any tragedy. So what makes rape so special here? That's my problem.
Okay. I have, by the way, I for years I have contemplated rape, and it comes to rape fascinates me on a deep intellectual level. Okay, and I've broken down rape, and I have like theories and okay. So rape is interesting. Let's talk about rape. Okay, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay. That's my little.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please.
So rape.
Yes.
So rape is an act. It is a verb. It is a process. Now, rape can only exist with one individual acting on another person. You can't rape with no victim, you know, so there has to involve at least two parties. Now, rape is interesting because there are very few things you could ever do to someone that has such an effect as rape. Now, let's compare rape to murder, okay? Murder involves one person acting on another person. You know, you murder the subject. So both involve a perpetrator, the act, and the subject. Now, in murder, when you do it right, the person is dead. That's it, you know? They have entered a new state of being, which is dead.
No being at all. That's the state of being.
Yes, that's the state of being. Nothing. They have changed. You have changed them. They went from alive to dead. Now, rape is interesting because you don't change them physically. Well, I mean, sure. I mean, they might have like 0.3 grams of biomaterial in them. Try to understand what I'm saying there. But thing is, let's say someone was raped, and they got a checkup. Were totally fine. So physically, they're unchanged. They didn't get affected in their health. No AIDS, no sexually transmitted diseases. But you change who they are. Like I have a saying that a rape, it's a bit off topic, but a rape victim can never be unraped. That is to say that as soon as you get raped, you get affected by that for life. That you carry that shit with you everywhere you go. If someone slaps you, you don't become a slap victim your whole life. You just, okay, someone slapped you, it's over, that's it, okay. But when you get raped, it changes you at such a level that nothing else can. Like I could punch Aziz on my screen. He's like right here, so I could punch Aziz, and he's gonna basically be the same person. But if I were to rape Aziz, he would change. His identity changes so much.
Your response, please.
Your response.
That I can see that. I have watched Law and Order SVU season 4. and you know, you see the poor acting with these people. You know, I'm a traumatized rape victim, but it's true. Like, because when you rape someone, you don't rape the vagina, you rape the brain. Like, you cannot have sex again without, you know, crying or thinking about that same moment of somebody raping you.
Yes.
Rape,
and
rape
also
is the state after rape is worse than death. Like, death is mercy. Like, is mercy. Like, once you kill me, I'm done. Once you rape me, once you get raped.
By the way, that should be the thumbnail. Aziz, once you're raped.
What?
I'm saying that the thumbnail for this video should be like, once you're raped, and then just freeze frame on you.
Okay. I'm still confused.
What?
I'm still confused.
I know I ramble off, so just tell me what you're confused about.
No, like, okay, you guys are saying this, which is like rape is an intense experience. I bet it is.
You
All right.
bet. Oh yeah.
But
you might win that bet. You might win that bet. Yeah.
And what confuses me is that there are a lot of intense experiences out there that cannot be called rape, but can be very similar to it. Imagine if you're in like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, number 3, right? Right. I don't think like being raped is as powerful as what happened to both these guys, what these two guys did to each other. Right.
Ooh, watch out, Trillion. Watch out, Trillion.
I have a simple answer for this. Like, it's simply because of the simplicity of rape. Like, how it's defined as one of the worst, horrendous crimes ever. Like, it's simple. It's a crime that everybody can agree that it's one of the most horrible crimes ever. It's simple. That's why people can use it as an example, like in anime or in movies or in whatsoever, without going to a long extent of showing the after effect. It's rape. It's simple. Oh my god, that's like hell. Oh my god.
So, okay, firstly, that's an insult because I go way deeper into that. That's shallow. That's shallow. That's okay.
I'm a simple man.
Let's go back to rape. Let's go back to trying to define rape. Now, interesting thing about rape is that rape has no defined limit, time limit specifically. No one ever says, "Oh, rape has to be 5 minutes long." Rape has to be from this time to this time. No, rape is just rape. no matter how much time you put into the fact and into the act of it, once you do it, you've done it. Now, to give a comparison, murder. The time of murder is basically how long it takes for the person to die and how long it takes for you to kill. This we can clearly define as
I
that's
disagree with that. Like,
yeah.
okay, since everybody's fantasizing about something, like murder, if you want to, if like, did you watch Law Abiding Citizen? The movie?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Did you see this? This is the best movie of all time. Like, simple father revenge. I love it. And that guy made that revenge, that murder so long. He murdered that guy for hours and hours, cutting every like limb by limb, and he injected some chemicals into that guy, some adrenaline, so he won't pass out from the pain. Like, I know what you're relating to. Like, rape can be as short or as long, and so is murder. Like, murder, I know the after state is much simpler. Like, the guy's dead, but you can take your very, very beautiful time murdering that, son of a bitch who did something.
And
Well-
Aziz was never the same after this chat.
Well,
Nobody's the same. Nobody's the same after listening for you like for 1 hour talking about women with penis. Nobody's the same.
Oh,
Like,
that's
look
right.
at
Man.
before we proceed to from hentai to yaoi, or if you're not done with hentai, we can proceed there. But I want to ask this
I'm
question.
Yeah, go on.
The question is not related to the topic at hand, but it's related to rape. So I'd love to get your take, guys. I've always like analyzed rape cases, right? And it's usually a very classic narrative, which is the guy's a piece of shit, or the gal, depending. If you're in Russia, things are kind of whack, and the offender is always at fault, while the victim's always in the right. But every time I analyze and look at a rape situation, I always see both as victims, but of two different symptoms. So I'd love to take your take on this, which is when somebody rapes somebody else. I'm not saying whether they did was correct or incorrect, but the thing that made them do the raping, does it come from a bad or a good place? And what I mean by that is, what were they justified in their own way, within their own circle of mind, if you will, within their own brain chemistry, to do what they did? Anybody, all of you can answer.
I'll go last.
first.
I've been talking the most.
All right, I'll go first. Like, human brain is interesting because of the, every human, like, without laws, without religion, without anything whatsoever, has its own moral, ethical, and justice system. All right, so it acts on those, like, it acts on this system in order to achieve something, in order to achieve revenge, in order to respond to this current situation. Like, sometimes, like, the guy who assaults is the victim. Like, what happened, like, this same situation happened like a couple of months ago in Kuwait. Like, some Kuwaiti guy assaulted an Egyptian. Like, he kicked the living crap out of this guy. The guy is unconscious on the ground, and the Kuwaiti guy keeps kicking him on the head. Every time they try to separate him from the body on the ground, he kicks everybody and keep on kicking and kicking and kicking that unconscious guy. And the news just fed on that story. Like look how Kuwaitis like deal with expats. Look, this is abuse. This is assault. This is whatever, whatever, whatsoever. But okay, what that Kuwaiti did is super wrong. But what did that Egyptian say in order for that guy to snap? Like he said something or he did something to him. Like that guy felt victimized. I'm not justifying what he did, but everybody's a victim of something. Like, for example, if you're in a bar, like you filthy American infidels, you're in a bar, hitting on some girl, and that girl shame you in front of all of the bar, like all the people inside the bar, like everybody's laughing at you. You're filled with rage. So what's your basic what's basic drunk response is go and rape the bitch. Like it's just revenge in its own sense. Like not including any laws, not including any religion. It's just human basic response. He's a victim of that situation, and he took his revenge by basically raping the bitch. It's easy.
It comes like you're saying it from a grudge. Is there something you want to tell us, Aziz?
That he hates Americans. Yeah, I got that. I got that part.
No, I love Americans. I studied in Morgantown, West Virginia. Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. No, it's not West Virginia.
West Virginia is all right. I don't know.
Yeah, especially Morgantown, because Morgantown, maybe a lot of people like said to me, especially my American friends, said to me, "Is there like anybody that did something racist to you or talked to you, racism and shit?" No, West Virginia people are amazing. My friend stopped me and said, "Morgantown, not West Virginia." Like Morgantown is just this town is based on the university, like it lives on it. So it has a lot of students, international students. So it's from 19 gajillion 30, I don't know. So there are a lot of mixed races inside Morgantown. That's why I saw zero racism in that town. I love it. So that's why, yeah. I love American, but I hate the infidels. So yeah, it's just a
fair word. Yeah.
All right, Louis, it's your turn to answer the question.
Repeat the question.
Well, it was a long narrative, but the senses of both people, like the both people who were engaged in the rape, being victims of different symptoms, one of frustration and the other of just being in the wrong place, I guess, or being the offender in Aziz's narrative.
Or wearing the wrong outfit.
Yes, yes.
So your question is asking how I compare the two psychologies?
Like, would you think like the idea is most people when they analyze the rape, they're like the guys or the offender, to be more SJW-ish, is the piece of shit, and the other person is the victim. While in my head, if I like every time I see a rape, the situation is more complicated, and if we're going to do any proper analysis that fixes the problem, it's going to be we're going to have to see the motivations that drove the person to do what they did. So let
me use this example. So in this, I got to be careful with how I word this. There was a notorious rape case that took place here in the States recently. It made international news, but it was a big deal here in my home state of California. It took place at a prestigious school called Stanford, and it was the Brock Turner case where the swimmer, he was a swimmer for the school. He found an unconscious girl behind a dumpster and raped her. And the story goes that then two men found them and they chased Brock Turner off. And I've heard every side of the argument here. Obviously, there's the guy's a piece of shit because who finds a girl and rapes her instead of helping her? But why did she need help? She needed help because she had she had drank so much that she was actually unconscious from being at a party, so she endangered herself, correct? So the way I would post those two up against each other is one is a victim of putting themselves in the position of a terrible circumstance, and the other one is in the position of benefiting in a very immoral fashion, of course, from that unfortunate circumstance. So
I
when
would
they
take this a
meet, I
step.
suppose, is when you get the debates.
Well, I would take it a step further and say, looking at that person's, like Turner, as you said, looking at his background, where he came from, and I would bet that that guy did not have any sexual release for a long time, or he is recovering from a relationship problem, whatever it is, right?
But that's why you need porn.
And you
That's why
get,
you need hentai.
well, yes, but unfortunately, like, internet is not a human right at the moment, at least unless you're in Germany. But and the idea is it's right there, right? And everybody knows, and as my great brother quotes, you either think with this head or that head. So at that particular circumstance, that head won, and that the poor girl just happened to be this in that situation. So how do we fix this? Is what I always think. Like when I look at a situation like this, because saying a man is a piece of shit and punishing him does not work. It does not stop anything. So how do we deal with this?
Well, I'm a fan at
Uh,
stopping things from the foundation, right? From the beginning. So
yeah.
the way this, because we analyzed this case in one of my media classes, and it was the teacher basically put up a float, and it was a very biased discussion, of course. You know, rape is bad, and that's the end of discussion. And obviously she's not wrong, but the way she presented it was she put up a flow chart. So it's like one box, arrow goes to another box, arrow goes to another box. And as soon as I saw her filling out the arrow, as soon as I saw her filling out the boxes, the first one in particular, I was like, there's your problem. You attend a stupid college party. Maybe most people don't think as cynically as I do when it comes to the college experience or the illusion of getting fucked over and then experiencing whatever may come of those consequences. So then there's the next box. You drink heavily. Don't drink heavily. And I think there was someone in the comments, Toby the Nomad, MVC material every single time. He just simply put, it's her fault for getting drunk and it's his fault for raping her. And the court system obviously is based off of the system where we're going to pick one person as right and one person as wrong. But if you're more critical about it, naturally you're going to find the degrees in which people were wrong. And in which case I believe the girl was wrong, significantly less than the guy, of course, because she put herself in that circumstance. On the flip side, Brock Turner was exceptionally wrong for finding her and not helping her. He would have done better if he just would have left. Like if he would have seen her and neglected her. That would piss a lot of people off still, but would it piss people off more or less than if he went through with what he did?
With that said, I would like to proceed to get Professor Khalid's take on the issue, as he is the expert.
Okay. Yes. Although I'd like to say I'm an expert in theory, not in practice. Okay. So the interesting thing, okay, now there's a lot of problems in the issue of just when you ask the question who is wrong, you invite so many discussions and problems. I say the easiest way to deal with most of these problems is that never generalize. Like even just asking the question, who is wrong to what degree? Well, technically is a good thing, but the thing is, you invite so many people to say, "Oh, all men are scum," or you invite people to say, "Oh, it was a woman's fault." The best thing to do is just look at each example as its own thing. You separate it from all the other examples, And that way you can't say, oh, this one rape was like this other one rape. No, each rape has its own circumstances, the separate things that led to it, and separate outcomes. And yeah, no, that's my thing. Like each thing should be judged separately, because the instant you start to put all rapes together, you invite all this discussion and like philosophies of like, oh, men are just terrible, and all these things. So just separate each thing from each other. That way you don't have a single body of work to draw from and use against other people. I mean, there's other things I could say, but that's my number one thing: is each instance of rape should be judged separately from the other. You can learn from other examples, but do not use them as evidence to condemn or prove the innocence of another person. Like my rape should not somehow prove your rape as guilty. Yeah, I have a problem with leaving things out.
And Trillion, what's yours?
Like, yeah, actually, I can relate very much to what Khalid is saying, because generally, when I think of this, there is no benefit to pointing out who was wrong in this circumstance as much as there is benefit from getting the information needed to prevent that from happening again. I.e., instead of putting that, like, the rapist in jail, I'm not saying they shouldn't be punished, but instead of putting them in jail, you put them in a psychiatrist's office. You see what happened, what was wrong.
Well, a lot of them do get away with that. At least here in the States, because you can plead insanity here. That's a big thing.
No, not insanity. That's the thing. Like I don't care about the insanity thing. I want to see what happened in his life that led him to do what he did. The same way a serial killer is put, with a psychologist to write his memo before the death penalty. Like, we need his side of the story. Was his mother or father abusive, and he's taking his rage out? Shouldn't we fix that? Shouldn't we handle that? Shouldn't we understand that at least?
Is there really a way to
pointing fingers?
Is there really a way to know? In some cases, though,
it's okay. I understand where this is going, but the thing is, you can't permanently solve rape in a humane way. Like, there's no way to do it in a way that satisfies everyone or satisfies morality. But that doesn't mean we should stop, because to stop not trying to find a solution is far worse. Yeah, I lost myself there. You just have to, because, like, what's the alternative? We just let people rape each other all the time? No, we have to try to stop it. We know we can't stop it permanently, but that's what else are we gonna do?
No, I suppose my point there is, so every time a major incident like this happens, ever since a major rape occurs, the news is all over it. And they do ask those questions. What made him do this? And that's the same. It's the serial killer treatment, right? And then they try to pick out and nitpick all these different aspects of his life. And I realize that the same conclusion they come to, and I'm willing to bet most of the time it's by choice, by a stubborn choice, because they don't want to dig too deep into it. The analysts are saying he's just a piece of shit. And that's the consensus they come to. He might have been abused, and he might have been harassed, and he might have been sexually assaulted himself growing up. But he's just a piece of shit at the end. Because for most people, that's not an excuse to eventually do it yourself. Even though the psychologist most likely would see the other side of the spectrum. But people don't give him that light, or people don't give the offender that time of day, right? Because if you're a rapist, you're a rapist. That's the worst possible crime you can do. And people aren't willing to, and they're taught that from a very young age, so they aren't willing to excuse it in any capacity.
Well, you shouldn't excuse it. You should be punished for it because you broke a law in the end, and if not a law, you broke a moral code. But in the end, we should see after the punishment how to prevent this. Because once you get the rapist tag on you, like the second you put a rapist tag here, you're done for life, right? Like maybe the gal getting raped, that affects her and she gets help and everything, blah blah blah, and she carries that scar for the rest of her life. Well, being a rapist is an open wound, bitch, right? People won't hire you. People will not want to befriend you. People don't want to do anything raw to you. You served your time, you served your punishment, right? And now you're out in the world, but that gets stuck with you for the rest of your life. Dude, people being suspected of raping, regardless of whether they did it or not, are excluded from society, much less somebody who's been confirmed to do it, right? Well, I'm not for this. I'm not for destroying somebody's potential because they made one mistake in their life, regardless of how major or inferior it is. He served his time. Now, can we find him a future? Right? And that's why the analysis is necessary.
The point of I totally agree with you in regards of destroying one's life because of a mistake, no matter how big or small it is. If you serve your punishment, I totally agree with you with that. And the point of all of this psychology crap they do is not to justify what he did, is to prevent others from doing the same thing. Like if you discover that this like A rape happened because of B reason, we have to prevent that B reason, for example, like family abuse, from happening. And that's why all of these like movements are happening to prevent like abuse, to prevent all of these things, in order to prevent future rapists from developing. Even though like that is and I believe this, like, and some of me believe this, that there is a very son of a bitch fucking gene called the rape gene. Like once you have that gene inside of you, you cannot control it, but you can nurture it. But the environment, the environmental situations have to be perfect in order to do that. Like I believe in genetics. Like this is my thing. I like genetics. I feel like what makes a rapist are two things: nature and nurture. Like the nature of you having that gene, son of a bitch, rape gene, and the nurture is the trigger to that gene to develop. So when you get abused in your home, your daddy, tucks you to bed tonight, every day, reads you a story, very intense story. You're abused. That triggers the gene that makes you a rapist.
I want to address a comment, which is should a murderer who killed once for fun, the experience, or hate crime be given a second chance according to Trillion? Well, that's not an easy subject. I actually sat for an hour and a half talking to my brother about this, which is if somebody did a murder or a rape for fun, like there's no reason, he was bored and he decided to do it, what do you do with this human being? Do you take him out? Do you lock him up for life? What do you do with this human being? And as much as we analyzed it, there was no proper answer to this. That does not seem unfair or unjustified or frankly stupid. But there are two ways we can salvage this. One, is he useful in any way? And two, can he do that useful thing while serving the time? If somebody did something for fun and that was it, to me that's a life punishment. So you're in jail for life. But I'm against the idea of putting somebody in jail while not making use of them. I'm pragmatic, so I have to make use of them. So if they're gonna keep doing their thing in jail because you lock them up, there's no way you want that guy out there, right? You might as well salvage whatever potential they have. But if they don't have any potential, by all means, sack them. I don't care.
My opinion on this is how you define like the human soul. How sacred is the human soul to this particular society, to this particular country, to this particular religion? It's all depends on where it happened. There is no one definitive answer that can satisfy all of the different world, because all of the world are different in terms of culture, religion, and laws. If there is one religion or one culture and one law in all of the world, there is no debate for this. But like sacking a murderer, in my opinion, yeah, it's fine. Like once you start killing murderers, there will be less of them, in my opinion, again, because people will be afraid of committing murder because they will immediately be dead. Like no matter and yeah, this is just my opinion on this particular, like just murder. Murder. It's for me. It's a red line. I find every human soul is sacred. Like this is just my opinion.
All right.
It's an interesting
Any other
question.
take on this? Yeah.
Because, okay, if I'm just going to analyze the question, murder for fun, to me, that tells me one of two things of the hypothetical individual. Either one, they lack the ability they lack the ability of understanding what morality is and regrets and all those mental conceptual blocks that stop you from killing people. Or this person disregarded those things and just went along and did it anyway. And either one of those two things, like pretty much like they're very damning things if that's why you killed for fun. So either one, you're a a psychopath, and that's pretty damning in itself, or two, you're not a psychopath, but you chose to do it just for fun. That's gonna, that doesn't really put things in your favor for leniency, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know how to. That's a really
it is not a, there's no right question, like there is
By
no
the
right
way,
answer to this. Yeah.
what's the name of the stream again? Anime Law, you said?
Yes, the anime law. Where
I swear I was asking that question mentally the entire time. Like, wait, what did I sign on for? Anime law?
I hope I don't have to remember it.
Like, we spent right now an hour and a half, maybe, or almost two. Just like the first topic is rape, is hentai, which is relates to anime. Then we just deviated in other interesting things. I like this. I like this. I very much like this. Like anime is crap. Why would I talk about it? Let's change the stream name. This is my point.
Someone in the comments quote Aziz. Interesting topics. 2018. Aziz finds rape and murder interesting. Someone quote him on this.
I never said that rape. I never said that rape and murder ain't interesting. Like these two are, how can I say it? It's without sounding like a murderer. This is the fantasy of every human being to explore, but without being punished.
Well, here's the thing. You're not very wrong, Aziz, because if we look at Jungian psychology, what they try to say is in every person there's something called the shadow, and the shadow is like the reverse personality, the thing you repress as a good law-abiding citizen. And there are two ways to feed the shadow in order for it not to explode: either to do it yourself, like let the shadow get released, or see the act from a safe zone, and that way feed your shadow, and that's what keeps you as a functioning human being, which is actually the explanation on why people are so fascinated with like serial killers and murderers and all that stuff,
and
because
rape
they want to
fantasies.
see it. Yeah, they want to see it, but from a safe distance, right? From a screen where they're safe, they can feed their own shadow without the need to actually experience the thing. So yeah, you're not very wrong in that.
Well, that explains why so many graphic rape hentais exist. Okay, we've answered that question.
Yeah, yes,
Philosophers
actually.
have been
Like, all
stifling
humans
women
are
for ages.
This is rule number one. Humans without laws, without religion, without culture, without tradition are a bunch of fucking animals. That's what humans are. What
Woof.
makes us civilized is laws, religion, tradition, and culture. This is what makes us civilized. Like,
Hentai. Gotcha.
Yes.
Hentai
No!
games.
no. Hentai,
Professor Khalid.
hello,
Professor, Professor Khalid, we have another question for you, which is, what are your thoughts on doujinshis and artists like Shadman?
I don't know that artist, but doujinshi. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, honestly, I'm just thinking about everything I've said, and I feel like I've butchered the subject. I am so self-critical. But anyway, so doujinshi can be two. Let's put it in two different categories. Okay, in the first part, it is the equivalent of fan-made comics. So you could have doujinshis on let's say there's an anime you like, and then you search online and you say, oh, someone else likes this anime, and this person draws, and then you start to read this comic, and then you realize that basically it's just their own romantic pairing made into reality. So
Oh, that's what those are.
yeah,
Okay,
so
I
if
know.
you
I
ever
think I've seen a
read
few.
like an
Yeah.
actual comic on an anime or a subject that was like, you could have, if you search online, you'll find like erotic comics made online about League of Legends, but like there's no sex in League of Legends. So that's just one side of doujinshi, the fan made comics. Another side of doujinshi can be just a comic that is not associated with a magazine but was published online. Now, many people might think doujinshi just means sex. Like, oh, doujinshi is someone just writing their sexual fantasy in comic form. Not always, because I think the one thing these both things have in common is that it is not made by a magazine or a company. It is a third party, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? Freelance. It's like public domain. It's like you could go on a computer, make a comic, and post it online. You're not making money out of it. You haven't trademarked it. It's just open content. That's the one thing, the unifying element that all doujinshi have, and the origin of doujinshi. In fact, there are some animes and manga genres that were made by doujinshi, basically yaoi. Should I transition to yaoi now? This is a really flawless.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, please.
And this is what I am a self-proclaimed expert on. This I cannot butcher. Okay, hopefully. Anyway, yaoi, in case those of you who don't know, is, if you had to, give a explanation, is the romantic pairing of two or more men, the romantic pairing with little to no depiction of women. That is the best definition you can find for yaoi.
What do you mean by depiction of women exactly?
Little to no depiction, as in there are no women.
As in there's no Chinese cartoon drawings, Trillion.
All
Come
right,
on,
all right,
follow. We're moving fast here.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting
I'm
so
lost.
turned.
What Chinese has to do with anything? I'm lost. What Chinese has to do with anything here?
Yeah, it's not Chinese. What the hell are you? God damn.
Louis just said Chinese. I'm lost.
I thought anime was it's made by the Chinese, right?
Yeah,
are
fair
you
enough.
saying this to fuck with me, or do you actually believe that?
It's China or Korea, right? It's one of those.
Wait, one at a time.
They all look the same, man. They all look the same. Korea, Thailand, Taiwan, China.
Okay. No. Okay, now we have to go back. Now let's talk about anime itself. Let's start from the basics.
Oh, dude.
No,
Oh.
Dude,
no,
that's
no, no,
trolling.
no.
Come on. No, please, no basics.
Oh,
Go, keep going.
Look,
Please.
no,
No.
this is interesting. This is
You are the
interesting.
first
No.
person to have fallen for that.
Yes,
Okay,
he is.
wait. Let me.
You
Okay.
fell for this.
Does anyone
Feel
know?
shame.
Quick history, quick lesson. Okay, I had to write my dissertation on this. Anyway.
Khalid, before you start, I'd like to address a question in the comments from
What?
Angela. What are your thoughts on Rockefellers? My boy, I like conspiracies.
What? What am I thinking? What?
On Rockefellers, that's for us, Khalid. Just
Okay.
like that.
Sure, you do that. I'll be right back. I need to just handle something. Just answer the question.
He needs to go pick up his books on the subject.
Yes, he needs his notes.
He needs his citations. Sources. We need sources.
Yo, brilliant. Go conspiracy on us. What's your thoughts on Rockefellers?
On who?
The Rockefellers. One of the richest families in the world.
Yeah. I know my English is bad.
They own the train tracks.
Well, no, they own the media. So, like, not us. That's basically it. You control the media. You control what everybody knows about everything. So,
dude, they control the media. They control the oil that America has a lot of. But they take Saudi's oil to drain it, so they will have the last country with oil is America because Rockefellers hide in Philadelphia.
Hey, Light Lelouch, who is currently in the lead for MVC, by the way, claims that Khalid is getting the notes he made out of his jizz.
Of course, man.
Oh, he's back.
Dude, there is a statue of jizz made statue.
I could tell you a story about making.
No. I was kidding.
It was actually a dream I had. It's a very Freudian dream. It tells me a lot about myself, but I won't say. Yeah, no, it's pretty weird. Even I had the dream, and even I thought it was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen in my life at that point. Anyway, moving on. I didn't hear the question or understand, so I left that to you guys.
Ignore the question. Just straight into Yahweh. Let's continue. We're on a timetable here. Let's move.
Sure. Okay. So Yahweh, basically, 2 or more gay men, no women. The focus is on the men. Now, how did it come to be? Basically, women would see animes or mangas they liked, and there were certain male characters they thought were interesting. So then they started making pairings for them, and they started making comics. Now, these comics were not made for their plotline. They were just made because they thought 2 characters were hot. Like, hey, let's put them together. Let's see how hot that was. Now, this started becoming a trend, and then people started doing more and more and more. Now, there was one critic who reviewed these fan-made comics, and he said that there was a line he said in Japanese where it translates into no plot line, no point, no finish, where he's basically saying that there is no structure to the story whatsoever. It's pointless. It's all about the sex. Now, the interesting thing is that if you take the words he said and write them out in English, and you take the first letter of each word, you get Y-O-A-I. Yahweh. Now, another fan made fun of this point, and he used those same letters to make another sentence using Y-O-A-I. And the words combine to mean in English, stop, my ass hurts.
How many forums did you have to? Where did you learn this in particular? I'm curious.
Let's see. Oh shit, do I still have the book? I have this well, I don't know, I forgot who made it, but like the dictionary or encyclopedia of anime. This was in 2000 and what year we're in? 2018. So I got it in 2015. Checked multiple Wikipedia sites, other sites, Reddit. There's no official website or like scholarly article on this. I know I've tried to search for them. There's only one scholarly article on Yahweh, and his thesis and the whole discussion was fucking bullshit, and I hate this guy. I raged so hard when I saw this. Anyway, so let me quickly go back to the origin. So Yahweh is basically fan-made gay ships that became so popular that manga producers started saying, "Hey, this stuff is good," and comic artists are like, "People like this. Let's just make money out of this." So the origin of Yahweh is no pointless story plots about two men having sex. And that beautiful tradition has continued to this day. Now,
I have a question.
Yes.
It's not related, but I think it contributes to your points. I hope this question organizes your thoughts more, which is I hear and I'm told that the yaoi genre is more popular with females than males. Is that true? And if it is true, why?
Trillion, if you're not trolling right now.
I am not. I am not.
Okay.
I am not.
Okay. I will shed some light into this. Not only is it more popular, the target audience is women. That is the target audience. It is designed for women. It was historically made by women. Let me put it this way: How many of you guys would enjoy? Where's Aziz? Did he run away? Oh, there he is.
I think so.
Yes, good. Okay, Aziz, all of you guys, answer this question truthfully. Would you enjoy two good-looking men having sex?
No.
Okay, I think I just answered that question, right?
Well, hold on.
Man,
How good looking are we talking about here?
Yeah.
We have to entertain all sides of the spectrum. That you can't just propose this question.
Okay. Yeah, and there are different types of builds of men and cat. Okay. Let me put it this way. Let's say, okay, Boku no Hero Academia. Imagine, okay, now I haven't actually watched it yet, and but I know the characters. But let's say the guy with the red hair was having sex with the main character. Would you enjoy that?
God, no.
Okay.
Look at Louis. Look at Louis. God damn it. Look at him. Look at this face.
I haven't seen Boku no Hero either, so I don't. The red-haired guy. I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
See, I've read part of the manga. I haven't watched the show. I don't know who's red and who's the main character.
Name an anime that you know. Like, just start listing names, and then I'll just pick one that I know.
Let's go simple and go with Dragon Ball Z. Everybody knows that one.
Okay, Dragon Ball Z. Would you like to see who's on top? I guess in that relationship,
Damn it, man. Don't.
Goku's the top. So would you enjoy that?
Who's on top again?
Oh, Goku for sure. Goku is it's obvious. It's obvious.
On top of
Goku
who?
is
Krillin?
on top material.
Who's pitching and who's deceiving?
Look, I'll entertain Krillin and Goku if Krillin's on top.
No, what?
Because that would be a show.
Oh god, it's not even. I feel like you wouldn't watch that for like the sensuality of it. You just want to watch it because you think it's hilarious, and it's
sensuality.
Like,
I want to watch it because I know it exists now. If it does, and I need to validate myself in viewing
sensuality. What do you mean sensuality?
Okay, yeah, no. There needs to be an entire like episode just on Yahweh and how much I can explain it. Okay. So there are two. Okay, when you watch or read Yahweh, you are watching it, or you are creating said material for two purposes. One, you're creating a beautiful story that touches your heart, and you love it, and you love the pairing, and you just feel the emotions. Or you watch it because it's hot as shit, and you like that, and you get turned on by it.
Okay.
I would say most of the time it's the latter.
Right. Yes. See, and Yahweh usually is it's interesting because Yahweh is mostly just about the sex. In fact, it's if there's no sex, it's not Yahweh. It's another kind of genre. It's what we would call my people would call BL, boys love. This
My
is more
people.
PG-15.
We.
No, not you. Not
What kind
you.
of communism is this? What kind of communism is this? Like we, my people. What are you talking about here?
Okay. Look, I'm talking about the
Gay.
people that I don't know exist, that I know exists, but that I have had no contact with whatsoever. That's
Oh.
we.
And we're just supposed to take your
Okay,
word on
so-
that.
Look, there.
Yeah.
Look. Okay, that you can take my word on it because they have names. For example, women who watch Yahweh are called fujoshi. Men who watch Yahweh, which are extremely rare, example me, are called fuyoshi. I'm not making that up. I'm pretty sure that's fujoshi for sure is the thing. Fuyoshi, I think I'm not quite sure. I have to check it myself. But I have the designation of a fuyoshi. I am a man who enjoys watching Yahweh. I have the very unique ability to appreciate many forms of art because I can relate to so many different things.
Okay,
I'm not gonna
let me
go
say
into
this. I want to get it out of my chest.
You're secretly bi.
like-
I knew it. I always knew it.
Dude. Like from the very start of this stream, like I kept it inside. just you know to
Just release
you know.
it. Let it go.
Fuck you. Shut up. All right. Fuck you. Shut up. All right? Porn is not fucking art. All right. Fuck you for saying otherwise. I'm sorry, people, for my language. I'm never that. I never use bad word, but this scum. You don't say hentai and porn are art. No. I had enough of this. All right. Enough of this crap. I was just sitting, waiting my turn for discussing My Hero Academia because no other fucking YouTuber want to show on this fucking stream. But no, you don't say hentai and porn are art. All right. I'm done.
You good? You good? Got that out of your chest? Such a burden. I don't know how you survived this long.
You realize that you spent the night he spent the night at your home. Like you could just go find him and kick his ass if it really bugs you that much.
Yeah, come find me. I'm like what, 12 meters away? I'm literally 12 meters away from my
Yeah, just go inside.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me, goddamn. Don't touch me. This is a very civil stream.
Yeah.
Now, please proceed. Talk about the art of Yahweh, Mr. Khalid,
Okay.
Mr. Professor Khalid, please.
I can explain things easier when I'm given direction because I wander off sometimes. So just give me a question and then I can focus.
Again, my question was, why is it more popular with the gals? Yahweh in specific.
Good. Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing me on track. Okay. I've actually thought about this for a lot, and it took me maybe 6 months, and I finally came to the conclusion. The reason why there are two reasons why Yahweh is more popular for women. There's option, and the thing is, these depend on how the characters are depicted, how they experience their emotions, and just basically how the characters act. Now, the first reason why it's popular for women is there's in Yahweh there's terms of there's a seme who is the top, and then there's the uke, who is the bottom. Okay. Now, in classical yaoi, let's say from the year 1990 to 1990 onwards, the seme was the dominant type. You can easily tell who he is because he has huge hands. He's quite tall. He looks at the character with this strong, steady, desiring gaze, as if he's saying like, "I want you in your mind." And then the bottom always had like butterflies in her stomach and felt hazy feelings. Like, oh, no, I don't like this. It's strange. What am I feeling? The strange feelings. And then suddenly, sometimes, a lot of times in yaoi, the top rapes the bottom, but then it's not really rape because they kind of enjoy it. So there's conflicted feelings, and then these awakened sexual desires turn to this, sub difficult. and these just collapse. I want to open the door and just see what's happening.
Yeah, you should go check on him.
Okay, no, I'll let him go. All I need is the audience. Okay, screw the rest of you guys. Okay, so now the thing is, the interesting thing is when you really focus on what you're seeing, you start to understand why women like this. When you understand the dichotomy of the top and bottom, the top is like the definition of masculinity in romantic fantasy. He's dominant. He is straightforward. He knows what he wants. He goes after it. But at the same time, he pleasures the subject in question. And there's a ruggedness to the character. Okay. This is like the definition of desirable masculinity. It's a fantasy. Like, oh, I want a big, strong man to run his hands all over my body and just his big hands envelop me. Okay, so that's the man. That's like just nothing feminine about it whatsoever. Now, the bottom, like let's say the classical example of the bottom. I heard it. Okay. The classical example of the uke is very feminine. Like the way he experiences love and the feelings of sex is nothing like how a man feels it. If anything, you start to realize that the uke is a woman. Because, okay, like the words even used, like the uke would say things like, what would they say? Like, oh, I feel his thing melting inside of me, and I feel this warm feeling in me. During foreplay, the man's ass would start to convert, and even like the expression that the person would feel, and there's an expression on the face, like the things in their eyes. You missed it. You just walked in, open the door. The door's open now, and did you break something? Just threw this tissue at me. Holy shit! I was actually scared. I thought I was gonna die. I got a shotgun and shoot me. Okay. By the way, this is Aziz's parents' house. Okay, so okay.
Disgusting.
Anyway,
Answer the goddamn question. Why feeling?
I'm answering it. Just shut up and let me finish. Shut up and let me finish. No pun intended. Let me finish. No pun intended. So anyway,
he's building dramatic tension. Let him build dramatic tension, please.
And I'm explaining it as I go through the thing. Okay? The uke is basically is experiencing sex, and yet they are a woman. Okay?
Australian.
Shut up.
Hero, discussion. Just come. All right, fine.
Just come.
That guy shows up on my doorstep. I'm gonna show up on stream. Fine.
What's really funny is I'm hearing him on stream and I'm hearing him outside, and there's a second delay between the two, so I'm just hearing the same thing twice. Let me. Is he coming? Okay, no, I'm good. I'm safe. Okay. Okay, look. So basically, the seme is a man, and the uke is a man who physically and emotionally enjoy sex as if they're a woman. And so this is done because you remember my previous thing of what I said with Futanari, of how because you see something you understand, you enjoy it. Women see the bottom, experience sex as they would as a woman, and because they can relate to it, they enjoy it. So you see? And they also enjoy it because they see a man, the dominant one, who is pleasuring the man as they would want to. Now, why did it have to be two men? I really don't know why. That's just that's a thing humans do. I understand it, but I don't know why. Anyway, now okay, that's one reason why women like Yahweh. Then there's the other kind, where shit. Where was I going with this? Aziz, you threw the tissue box and me. I lost.
Let me answer this question. All right, I'm gonna
I answered
myself.
I answered one reason.
Shut up.
I'll leave it.
Shut up. All right. It's easy,
Yes,
man. It's easy. Very easy. Why women enjoy yaoi? Because there are two fucking sexy men kissing each other. Why men enjoy lesbo? Because two sexy women kissing each other. It's simple. It's biology. You fucking tough.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
See, now,
my
okay. Thankfully, you've awakened the inner gay in me, and now I remembered the second thing. Okay, no, that's the logic. See, that kind of thinking is what only a straight man would have. Only a straight man would use that kind of logic. That's not that you. Aziz, what did I tell you in the kitchen when we're having breakfast? I have a saying. Okay, he's getting up. Fuck.
We're on the move.
Oh god.
Okay, I don't know where he is. Okay, wait, where is he? I hear him. Shit. Okay, in the kitchen. Okay, don't come at me. He's coming at me. Okay, that's close. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to say, I have a saying. Okay, just not the flesh without, but the heart that loves women. Now, to explain the poetic metaphor, is that it's not what you physically are on the outside that determines how you love. It's what you feel on the inside. So you think, to your understanding, Aziz, is that, two women like men. Add two men, that's hot. That's not how it is. It's everything about it's sex that arouses women, but it's not the act of sex. It's everything around sex. You know, it's the feelings, the connection with someone. You know, the desire. So women can enjoy just women can enjoy sex because of everything around sex. So really, you don't even have to have what they would. You don't have to have what they would consider a sexual prospect for them to enjoy sex. So women may not want to have sex with two men, but when you put what they consider beautiful, they'll like anything. Yeah, I need to prepare my material a little better. Next week, I'm going to have like a 2-hour lecture on just yet.
Next week.
I could go on and on about you.
Because of you can't.
Hopefully, without shoes being thrown at me.
They're shipping us in the comments, you fucking talk. Shipping us in the comments.
Okay, firstly,
I've been in the Duaniya, the people inside are shipping us too. It's fucking horrendous. Like how I have to live my life being shipped to Khaled.
But I knew this was coming. I mean, it was inevitable.
Khaled is the hero you deserve.
I mean, I'm actually flattered. I've never been shipped before. That's an achievement. Okay. I'm just checking if something's gonna get thrown
All
at me.
right.
Anyway, is there
So-
next subject question?
Just
All
so
right,
Aziz
I have-
does not kill me.
No. I have a question, right? I'm gonna indulge you
Oh,
small.
okay.
I
Sure,
do better
sure.
with the like material being shown I can present, but like
All right.
I'll work.
I'll give you a topic, Khalid, that we talked about in the chalet, if you remember. Is gay logical?
What? I remember vaguely. Like, okay, what's the question again?
Is gay logical? Being gay, like, is it logical?
Well, I mean, okay, is gay logical? Logic just means, is there like is there a reasoning that is sequential? Like, do I, how should I say it? I like chocolate. I will eat chocolate. Chocolate is good. There's a clear line of thinking, okay? It's not like
Mhm.
you do it on a whim for no reason. So anything that's logical doesn't mean it has to make sense. Logic and making sense are two different things. They don't have to be
All right, let me
mutual.
rephrase this. Does gay make sense?
Okay. See, here's the problem with that. The real question is, like, what you're asking me is basically, can gay sex make sense? Yes.
Not gay
But
sex,
you're-
like being gay
Yes.
itself.
No.
Okay.
Being gay makes sense, but you people might ask this question and they think, okay, it's more of along the lines of, is gay something that should exist? Well, when you ask that question, you're not asking should gay exist. You're really asking, does it exist? Yes, it does. Now, you might not agree with it, but that's not going to stop it from making sense to people. You know, it's like SJW propaganda. It may not make sense to you, but it does make sense, just not to you. Now, is it right? That's another discussion, you know? But you can't say that.
No. I'm not saying it's right. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So, the way I see it, like stripping that topic from all, all religion and all laws, and it's just like purely analytical, and it all comes down to two important things, like gay in terms of a biological aspect and gay in terms of an environmental aspect. Like when I talk about being gay, does gay make sense when in terms of environmental aspect, like because of some circumstances that happen to you, you may be gay. Maybe, for example, abuse. For example, you got rejected by your girlfriend, whatever.
Catholicism.
What is that?
Being Catholic, duh.
Yeah. And that makes sense. We said this is stripping from religion. No religion involved. All right? But in pure biological aspect, being gay does not make sense. Because of two important reasons. First one is the simple human anatomy. Like there's male and female. There's dick and there's vagina. It's simple as this. Right?
Wait, what?
Second
What was that
reason,
second thing? Dick and what?
vagina, man.
Okay, I heard regatta. I'm like, wait, ricotta cheese? What the fuck are you saying?
God damn it. No, the image is in my head. All right? And the second reason is being gay lead to human extinction because of less breeding. And from the last stream, we know that Japan is in the road of extinction, and also in Germany, in every year, the German population is decreasing. That's why you see a lot of Turk inside of Germany in order to increase the population, boom business. Like they take Turk refugee like no tomorrow. German people are decreasing in a very like scary factor. So in pure biology, being gay does not make sense because of simple human anatomy, and it leads to an extinction. Extinction. Yeah, whatever that word is. Fucking English.
Okay,
Dumb.
that's an interesting point. Although, here's the thing: if what is reasonable and what should exist depends purely on just biology, we would not have beautiful things. Let me put it this way: if we only need like proteins, carbs, iron, blood, and all these other vitamins and minerals to survive, then why do we spend so much time making food that tastes good? Like, we put effort and intellectual like energy into making unnecessary things like French cuisine, and like 50% of it is being butter and the other 50% is wine, which pisses me off to no end. Anyway, so if food should be made just according to biology, it would just be mush of minerals and stuff. But we put effort into it, making it beautiful. Buildings, humanity has spent like centuries making great architectural marvels to look beautiful and also to be symbols of greatness. But if we only need
I'm going to cut you off before you reach to rape being beautiful, right? That's why I said in the term of pure biological aspect, like just pure biology. I'm like stripping everything else.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I'm working with it, and I'm saying I don't think the stripping down to biology works, because then like we're not really discussing humans. It just becomes pure like science and math, and like you're stripping down everything that makes humans humans. The morality, art, aesthetics. You can't discuss humans without thinking that these things exist. So then you might as well just discuss like robots that are just things that exist on clear directives, or animals, and even if when you put it down to that level, you then start to realize, wait, there are animals that have gay sex. Like, let's see, dolphins have gay sex, dogs have gay sex,
monkeys,
monkeys. So even when you break it down to a pure biological level, you then get animals, and then even animals have gay sex. So gay sex actually makes a lot of sense. Gay sex makes a lot of sense. That's my thing. It's an interesting topic. It makes you think about it, and it's very useful.
Trillion, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Good.
Shit, he's coming at me.
Well,
God, I'm traumatized.
our idea is very simple. When we go, does it make sense? We have to put a lens, because logic needs some sort of desirability factor in order for it to reach a consensus, which is first you analyze what is consistent, and then you analyze rather whether it's desirable or not. And what's the desire depends on the standard. If we're going to use a purely biological lens for our standard, it makes it very hard to reach any conclusion that would give us like rational benefit, if you will. So I'm not going to use the biological ones. Instead, I'm going to use a biological one, but a more complicated one, like just a biological one, but more complicated. So you like vagina, right? You're just programmed to. Vagina not available though. Plus, kids suck. What about the other thing? That can be a vagina. Hokey pokey. Way more sophisticated biology.
Better not. Yeah. Everybody's afraid. Right? Everybody's afraid to hold on to the responsibility of raising up kids. It's very scary, I know. But people right now, especially in this very respectable stream that consists of a lot of weirdos, they don't like the responsibility. Like responsibility right now, like being responsible. Everybody's afraid of that term. Like I'm responsible to another human being. I have to raise them. I have to feed them. I have to, you know, clean their crap. Like, is it that scary that people go to butt sex each other just not to, you know, raise kids?
Well, it's not. It's not scary. It's just tedious if you're a lazy person. I mean, condoms
I'm
weren't there,
confused.
so you might as well just.
How does
Yeah.
raising children relate to gay sex? Maybe I missed the transition. What?
Yeah,
Well, I did say kid.
stay out of this. Stay out of this.
No. I said kids suck, and him being a parent, he had to defend his stance on that.
Yeah,
Oh, you just-
somebody has to be the devil advocate. All of you here are virgins and weeaboos and just
I will not have you disrespecting our fans like that. I care about them.
like you know.
Alleged virgin. I'm just saying, technically,
Alleged.
you can't prove definitely that I'm not a virgin, but you can definitely prove that I am not a virgin.
I'm lost.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Um,
You can 100% prove that I've never had sex, but you can't 100% prove that I've had sex.
Dude, just fuck you. Just fuck you.
I once talked to someone who was a lawyer. It was an interesting discussion.
Okay.
Good.
Before we continue this discussion, I want to just so Aziz does not kill me. Let's
Yes.
discuss My Hero Academia for like 10 minutes and then just wrap up or something.
Yeah.
Just to leave it on a
Sounds
good
about
note.
right. That way we don't break the promise that we gave the
Yes.
fans.
No,
Yes.
I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying this rape, murder.
No, but
Not
don't
the
worry
hentai.
about it. He already confirmed that he's coming next week, apparently. So
Yeah.
Oh man!
I mean,
Wait, yeah.
Good.
next time, like, give us a flow chart, like, draw stuff, like, bring a chalkboard, you know.
I need direction,
Oh my
and
God.
I need to know
He's coming
beforehand.
next
And
week. That means he's gonna sleep at my house again. God.
maybe you guys can be next to each other next time.
Yes, one
I
mic.
specifically said before we start, I'm not gonna share the screen with you. I specifically said that.
yes, he did. He did.
Food for thought, guys. Food for thought.
So, My Hero Academia.
Yes.
Where to?
Oh no, he's got.
Okay, so that was my veiled attempt at running out of the room and just jumping in the way of his screen, and then he threw something at me and I ran away.
Like a bitch.
Yeah, that's
You're
enough.
amused.
I feel like I advertised myself a bit too loudly.
No. My Hero Academia. Yes, let's stay on topic. Now,
Yeah, stay on topic.
who was supposed to be defending what? Yes.
Yes.
What?
Was there a point to this?
The story of me defending
Like,
the anime. Like, let's start with the, just a little background. You came up to me and said, "All right, I'm gonna trash My Hero Academia. I did not watch it before, so give me something." So we discussed it, for a bit. What's good, what's bad, whatsoever. Then I started to watch the streams, and I see these garbage people, Johnny and Mikey and Danny, and the just teenage
shots.
black people squad. I'm sorry if you guys are here. You made no sense whatsoever. You discuss anything. Like, you put feelings on top of emotions and do this, and it's a pile of nothingness. Like, your whole argument is empty. All right, saying this, am I an anime fan? No. Because being a fan means accepting the good, the bad, the ugly, the hentai. No, I'm not an anime fan whatsoever. I like anime. Like, I pick my animes very carefully. I had to filter out, and I want my anime to be boobless as much as possible. I hate fan service.
What are you, gay or something?
Bitch, I'm not gay. No, I'm not gay. It hurts my eyes when the writers focus on boobs instead of plot.
So, if I'm to understand, you are not an anime fan, but you put a lot of effort into selecting, viewing, and watching animes. But you are
Not
not
all
a fan.
anime. Not. I don't watch. Like, I read reviews. If this thing has, fan service, I stay away from it. Just a little
You're an
background.
anime fan. Because you're just one type of anime fan. What you like is specific. That's it.
What defines a fan? What defines a fan? In my head, fan means the guy who accepts the good, the bad, the ugly, the hentai.
What?
No,
No,
I'm not
a
that.
fan just means you like it. How you like it is dependent on you. Each person has different tastes. Like, you might only like one genre, but you only watch one genre.
Fanish, all right. So I talked to Trillion. All right, can I show up on stream defending that? My Hero Academia, which is ironic because in season 2 they started showing a lot of skin, which I hated a lot. But whatever. Let's take a stance. Let's get a proper discussion. Like, I'm sorry, Johnny and Mikey and Danny and the whole squad here, but you guys make no sense whatsoever. You bunch of apologists. You have to appreciate, the emotion of the writer. Screw the writer, man. Who cares about him? He did it for himself. Like, that means I have to appreciate porn writers? No, goddamn no. That's why.
All right, so let me tell you my.
Comment, subscribe, share, like you ate. I do Pokemon gay content. Pokemon content. Yes, content.
All right, so
we've gone so far beyond Freudian slips.
Dude, beyond. Here's my argument, and you're free to discuss this as you please, Aziz. My problem with My Hero Academia, I read what was at the time 20 chapters, which was the start of that was like up to date at that time of My Hero Academia. And then I continued watching weekly, or reading weekly to be more specific, and I came up with a conclusion which made me not like it very much, which is My Hero Academia, what it tried to do is it tried to take Naruto's place without adding anything to the Naruto formula, right? All it did was take this hard work equals greatness thing and just throw the main character with that thing. Even did not even bother, like, gave him superpowers, like steroids, just like for the Deus Ex Machina, right? And that was pretty much it, right? Like, there was no innovation to the formula. It was just like, oh, you like Naruto? Well, here's the thing that's kind of like it, except like it's more DC Marvel-ish with superheroes. Like, like what happens if Naruto meets the X-Men? Well, here's My Hero Academia, And it was just like disappointing for a successor. You expect more. And that's my problem with it.
All right. Discussing this exact topic, is it like the same? Oh, it took Naruto formula. Is it the same? Did it just take Naruto formula? Yes, it did. It took Naruto formula and it took Hunter x Hunter formula, and they just copied it because what makes money, because it's a business anyway. But is the show good? This is what we're talking about here. Not innovating in terms of an idea of the show and how the thoughts, or how can I say it, like giving you something original or something new. This is not anime. The anime scene is just copying successful formulas and turning them and doing them better. This is what anime is all about. Like watch, like 99.999% of anime is just copied formulas, and who does it better? This is the competition of the anime scene. So is it disappointing in that particular point? Yes, because it's not a new idea. But is it better? In my opinion, it's way, way, way better than Naruto itself.
All right, present why. Can you give us examples, things that happened in it? Yeah.
I will give you. In terms of plot consistency, right? The plot is so far, like I cannot compare a complete anime against a non-complete anime, but so far from what we have, the plot is consistent. There is very minimal to none plot holes. But when you come to Naruto, like Naruto, I like the anime, but they stop giving me excuses to preview them as a good anime. Like it's just full of plot holes. A being descended from heaven, ate a fruit, and banged a guy.
Do you
This is
think
what
that?
Naruto.
Do you think that that's the case because Naruto has just been going on a lot longer, so it's had a lot longer to fuck up? Because that's what happens with a lot of these stories. They go on for so long that the creator doesn't envision what they're gonna become, and so they become crap.
It's fair enough, and the big problem goes to the to the company itself, Shonen Jump. Shonen Jump abuses all of their writers, the One Piece writers, Naruto writers, all of them. Just constant abuse. Give us more, give us more. We want to sell merch. We want to sell figures. This Naruto, but if you Naruto in a nutshell, it's not very good. Like the basic idea, like a being descended from heaven. Like this is not how you start the story. Come on. If you said that chakra was there from the beginning, I would have respected that. Like this is how their human biology, this is their world, how they build it. No, a being descended from heaven ate a fruit that comes every 1 million years, and nobody knew about it except that heavenly being, and banged the guy and 2 children. It's just
It's an alien space mutant. Get it right.
Well, well, since you're not giving me examples I can work with, let me give you an example of the thing that made me turn off My Hero Academia from my brain as something enjoyable or something to watch, which is why I didn't continue reading. Which is, there was a particular chapter where there was this hero who can like either manipulate others or control others or something to that effect, like an ability that, an ability that's so scary that even like the instructors and the other heroes were scared of him, but he really wanted to be a hero, right? And what they do in that chapter is basically everybody's afraid of him. Then the main character, whatever his name is, like helps that guy out and tell him that even though you have this ability that's scary, you can still be a hero. And then that was that for this character arc, and this was done, and it was gone, and it was never discussed after, nor will this guy ever relevant again. It was just, and what they did was, what they did is they opened a very, very dangerous gate for a writer to open, which is what happens to somebody who is so powerful everybody's scared of him. It's a classic story. It's people like Caesar, Pompey the Great. Those guys in Rome were so powerful that the rest of the people were scared of them and kept undermining them because they were just afraid of what will happen if they like them, right? This could have been something. This could have been a deep exploration of a concept that has been going on since the beginning of time. What happens when somebody becomes too great, too powerful, too scary, too effective for the rest of the people around him? Instead, we were rewarded with, oh, you can still be the hero, and then that was that. And to me, when you butcher a plot like this, I can't help but doubt your ability to create good story and good tension. And therefore, like, after that chapter and after seeing that this was not included and this character was not developed, I kind of stopped having interest. So, like, can you at least help me out with that?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I totally agree with you. Like when you open Pandora's box for a bit and you expect you can't shut it down, you're mistaken. Because what comes out is something you cannot control. It's something that you have to explore more. You have to give the readers more and more and more. Oh, I cannot disagree with your statement because you're absolutely correct about that particular plot that should have been explored more. But at the end, uh, I'm not being an apologist here, but I think what the writer wanted to say in a very simple manner without deviating into filler is that you can be a hero even if you have like villain-like abilities in a very simple, one episodic type of thing. Because I don't want to deviate into filler. I want to continue. And from the fast pace of My Hero Academia, because My Hero Academia is season 1, then a couple of months later, season 2, and a couple of months later, season 3. They're building up their stories and their main character as fast as possible without going into filler that much. Like filler in this anime is just an episode or two. Like going with this fast pace, you cannot develop that much, subplot. Even though this plot is very, very interesting and very, very good. Like it's something you have to. It's a filler, or I continue developing my character because if you see My Hero Academia season 1, and a lot of people have the same critique, like the main character is a piece of crap. He's just crybaby. But what made him good is the fast pace of the anime. He's growing up very fast from what we see in season 3. Like the very all might guy who is the best hero, number one hero, loses his power and bestow his ability on the main character, and he's training him to become the number one hero. The fast pace of the anime makes no room to explore that that particular situation. Maybe it will be explored later because there are a lot of villain-like superpowers in the hero world. There will be like something maybe explored. I don't think so, but you see where I'm coming from?
Yes. All right. My last point coming here on the offensive is the main character himself. You've already addressed this, but I want to address a different angle. And I want to start by talking about Attack on Titan. All right. In Attack on Titan, it was supposed to be humanity versus the Titans. But then Eren Yeager starts becoming a Titan himself and banging everybody, right? And a lot of people I know got really disappointed about that. They're like, really? I thought this was going to be like the humanity struggle against like a foe they can barely understand, let alone beat. And now there are like big monsters and it's like kaiju wars, really? And the way I made the defense for Attack on Titan is people, if you read the comic, you read the manga, what you notice that Attack on Titan is not a humanity versus whatever incomprehensible power. It's a mystery show, right? It's supposed to make you think what happened, what's going on, how can we reach a conclusion? Let me think, let me discover what's happening. It's a mystery more than anything. That's why, like, everybody was bored of the politics arc, as everybody calls it. But that politics arc, I bet my ass, was more important to the writer than all the Titan fights, because that's where his story comes in. That's where the mystery comes in. Now, you go to My Hero Academia, and it's a story, I assume, like Naruto, about a guy who doesn't have anything, who through hard work and determination is able to reach the goals he wants to reach, right? And at least that's how it's portrayed, at least in the beginning. And but they ultimately undermine that very quickly by giving the main character busted power, busted. Now, I may be a harsh critic on this matter, but wouldn't it have been better to put the guy with no abilities as either a diplomatic, charismatic leader who's able to gather the heroes and make them do the things they want to do? If I'm going to use an example, maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Coulson, you know, who doesn't have any special abilities, but is able to still lead through rationale and great charisma and his ability to foresee the future and current events and just react properly. This could have easily been implemented, and it would have, I think, made the character way more likable. Instead, we got this ability that destroys your body, but it gives you superpowers, steroids, and he uses it to beat up villains, and that's pretty much how it went and how it's gonna go. And I hate that trope in shonen, which is, you know, like Naruto came from nothing supposedly, and then he turns out to be the chosen one. How quickly do we skip over from hard work wins to steroids win or chosen one wins? You know, you're making the bad example. You're taking the core of your story, and immediately you're breaking it and making it uninteresting. That was my like the big one that made me not lose interest in My Hero Academia, because like if it's supposed to be a guy who comes from nothing with hard work is able to achieve something, why are you giving him superpowers? Why are you Mary suing it?
All right. I actually have a very good response to this, but let's start with Attack on Titans first. What Attack on Titan did wrong that makes people like hate the kaiju battle is the very super slow pace of the anime. I'm not talking about the manga here. Let's just forget about the manga. Then if you read the manga, that's very different. Let's talk about the anime itself. Like, anime started in 2013, ended in 2014, and gajillion years later, season 2. So that gap makes people, you know, wonder why this crap, why this. But if you read the manga, you will know that the Titans are actually humans, and some countries using this weapon in order to, you know, invade the other country. But they took way too long time to explain this. If we go to My Hero Academy, we see the very good fast pace between seasons. That's the first point. Like, you can develop on. Second point is Phil Coulson. One of my favorite characters in my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if not the best character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But here's the difference. You cannot introduce a character like All Might with a super power that called One for All. That basically what this superpower is, it inherits from one guy to another, and the more guys, the more it inherits, the better it gets, from what I understand. So why not give the main character a chance who has no superpower with this One for All power? Because in one of the episodes, he proved himself worthy because he, you know, threw himself in a danger by saving one of his friends with no superpowers. So it's basically, it's setting up for that guy to inherit the One for All, you know, trait. And from what we see in season 3, the guy All Might loses his powers, then he trains the main character to control his powers. This is what is the show about. Wouldn't it be better if the main character has no power and it's the second Phil Coulson? Maybe, but you have to deny a lot of aspects, because if Phil Coulson existed, All Might cannot die. All Might cannot die. All Might take all the glory and fame from the main character, no matter what you do, because he's the guy who punches a lot. Like it's just setting up the main character in terms of you can think about it in a lot of in a lot of sides and angles, but this is the way how I see it. Like you want to get rid of All Might in order to to just push the main character. The one thing that I don't want to see is the Naruto treatment being the chosen one all along. I would be very sad to see that happen to our main character. And God damn it, I said our main character. To the main character in My Hero. I would be sad to see this. And one thing I'm also sad about, the main character uses notes in order to defeat his adversaries. But since late season 2 to season 3, we don't see those notes anymore. Like he's like those notes made him what he is, like a note-taking nerd type of superhero. We don't see it anymore. It makes me sad. But this is, I think, it's part of the character development he's going into. Maybe we'll see it later, but right now he's being trained under All Might to be the second All Might, the #1 hero in My Hero Academy. This
All
is,
right. All right. At least, based on this, can we agree on one thing, which is My Hero Academia as a show could have been handled better?
Of course, you can say, dude, you can say this same, statement for all shows. It could have been done better. It could have been done a lot better. But what I like, let's get some emotion into this. What I like about My Hero Academia is it's not just the fighting. The fighting is just, there is a lot of fighting animes out there. I like the drama into it. Like, not the romance type of drama, bad romance. Fucking Khalid, I see you here, huh? Not the romance. The regular drama that, when the emotions that I cannot put it in words unless you see the show itself. The struggle, the bad things that happen to the other characters. Somebody dies. This type of drama, they did it very good. Like, makes me, especially in season 3, like I cried in a lot of episodes. I cried in a lot of episodes because of the drama itself. The drama was so good with the fighting itself. Like it's not your regular average fighting show. Like I like Naruto because of the drama. Like the episode that his mother appeared is one of the best episodes of Naruto, hands down. Like when he goes inside the QB and his mother shows up. Like this is the best episode. The drama is good in it. Like this child-mother relationship, you see Naruto so happy, smiling when he sees his mother like in flesh. It's the drama itself is good. I like the drama when it's done bad, when it's done good. Like fighting plus drama equals good anime. But what makes me sad is the freaking anime community begging for more fan service. Like, stop ruining anime, you freaking tards. Like putting some pant scene and boob scene does not make the anime good. It makes you tingly downstairs. That's what fucking fan service do. It's not for the plot. The plot is it's an action, drama, comedy, anime. Leave it as it is. Fucking children.
Can I chime in for a bit? Here?
Yeah, of course. Please.
Okay. It's an interesting discussion. I'd just like to say that when anyone is discussing a shonen anime, you have to keep in mind that this is shonen. If you want to watch a show with beautiful themes and like deep intellectual plot twists and very convincing, endearing characters, don't watch shonen. When you watch shonen, you pretty much know what you're in for, the limitations, what the extent of how amazing it's going to be. So I find it interesting how Trillian, how you're saying that the shonen a book in a Hero Academia, the character is not convincing, like an Agent Coulson charismatic. I'm like, you're watching shonen. If you want to watch that, don't watch shonen. You know, that I think that's something we should keep in mind.
Well,
We are
here's my response. Here's my response to that. Whenever you're critiquing something, and I understand this fully, but I always have a rule whenever I watch creative content, whatever it is, whether it be a song, whether it be a novel, whether it be a comic, whatever it is. I always owe it to the creative fields to improve them. If I'm going to critique them, I'm going to critique them in such a way that they get better. Now, I see shonen as a genre that has a lot of potential, but its potential is like closed and hoarded in this heap of bullshit that it's been currently exposed in. And my job here is to say what I can say with hopes that somebody hears it and creates something that makes a shonen genre actually as good or on par with the rest of the creative fields that they can be like. But as it is right now, as you said, you're watching shonen. It's supposed to be dumb or it's supposed to be bad, you know? And I'm like, maybe it doesn't have to be, you know? Maybe we can, by critiquing these shows, put them a step up. Have them compete.
I didn't mean to say that shonen by definition is supposed to be bad. I'm just saying that there are some things that you probably will not find in a shonen. But that's not to say that shonen can't have things you will enjoy. You know, I'm sure the shonen can be worked on, especially shonen now with all the fan service. That's really just doesn't do anything for the show. But the shonen themes of camaraderie, you know, like people creating units of like bonds of relationship and family, that's interesting. Underdogs, you know, who doesn't love an underdog? That's a great theme in shonen. So there are things that are good in shonen, and depending on what year it
Can I say?
you know, go ahead.
Can I, give my take on shonen? Like,
Sure.
I can simply say
Now?
the difference between My Hero Academia season 1 and season 2. Like, season 1 has a lot less fan service to like minimum, but we see in season 2 that fan service like boomed. But season 1, it's still labeled shonen. But I can't. I hate fan service. You have to know this. Fan service is fucking annoying. I hate it. This is my just subjective opinion. I hate fan service. When I see an anime without fan service, this is God given. For example, Akage. Akage is the best anime hand down. No fan service whatsoever. Even the men in the anime are fucking ugly.
Yeah.
There is no fan service whatsoever.
Well, before we continue this, I want to get Louise's take on what we've been talking about. You've been quiet so far.
Oh shit, you're here?
I know, right? Almost fell asleep.
Good.
No, I read My Hero Academia.
I'd like you guys to know this is Luis. He's invited to our stream. He's a guest. So yeah, go ahead. Give your take on this one.
Well, I read My Hero Academia years ago, and I'll be honest with you, I was supposed to read more of it for this stream.
Yeah, me too.
And I didn't.
Yep, me too.
Because it sucks. And the excuse that shonen are supposed to be bad, or that's true. Like, there's a system to the shonen genre, if you will, and it's exercised very well to the shonen jump standard, but very terribly for everybody who wants something more. And so My Hero Academia, I remember I got to the first time, because I dropped it twice before I could make it just chapter 20. I made it to chapter 3, and it's like already the theme of the story was ricocheted from what it was supposed to be into something completely different. And that's what you guys mentioned, how it was supposed to be about a guy who didn't have powers, and how he wanted to be a hero, and then he takes steroids and he gets that. And as soon as I saw that happened, and so early on, I knew it was eventually going to get to the point. It was eventually going to get to the Dragon Ball Z portion of the formula, which generally comes later in stories, where it's just everyone is super powerful and everybody shoots bijou bombs and can destroy mountains and is just super strong, and the villains and the tactics don't matter anymore. And then I got back into it. I tried to give it a chance, and then it was refreshing. Like Aziz said, he uses notes, and that's a big deal because he can rely on the notes, and he's a little bit of a geek, and that's his quirk in a way. But then they put a lot of emphasis on the training, which wouldn't have been such a bad thing if the power was already established. In other words, if the steroids were already there. So then the notes naturally, like I expected, get tossed off to the wayside because it doesn't matter when you're... The problem with Deku, too, is that he doesn't even have a power with personality. He has, like, the Superman power. He's just super strong.
I agree. I hated this. Like, give us something. Come on, creative. Punching people really, really, really hard. 1 million trillion punch is not good, but yeah.
And the funniest part, the best part was My Hero Academia, the anime, started gaining a lot of popularity at the same time that One Punch Man did. And I was like, it doesn't help. It doesn't help how this is a show that's a satire of another show that I thought was a satire of superheroes. But no, they're taking it seriously because there are a lot of influences from the X-Men, apparently. And so My Hero Academia, like most shonen to me, even despite me giving it a chance, so far has developed into something that does not pique my interest because I expect it to be exactly like every other show. And I'm not willing to give it the benefit of the doubt yet.
I like the drama, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because I love the drama. Like in this show, the drama is good. The drama is amazing.
But how complicated can the drama really get in a shonen? I can't defend my friends.
It's not a complicated drama. It's just simple human emotion drama. Like when you see like a mother-son relationship, like you see mentor-student relationship. It's just I'm a very emotional man. I'm very emotional. A lot of emotions going around.
Yes, the tissue box explains a lot of the emotions.
But here's the thing, Aziz.
Go ahead.
You like it, that's fine. I'm not against that, but at least for me, if you're gonna use that as the selling point, if somebody's gonna use that as the selling point, I'm like, if the drama is good but everything else is shit, why don't I just find something with as good of drama but not shit?
I disagree with you when you say it's shit. It's not shit. What we are afraid of here, it's what maybe it will become. I think this is the true fear of My Hero Academia. It's the fear of what it will become, because we see the same steps of, Hunter x Hunter, Naruto. We see, a bit of everything in this anime. Will be like it will develop into shit later on. I still see it as a very, very decent anime. Like the fighting scenes are good, good bit of action. The music is good. The drama, I would say the drama a lot. So pardon me. It has a very, it's not very good. The best anime of all time. A Berserk. No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's very decent. I like it. It has a lot of good elements. It has a lot of bad elements, but it is still not descended into shit. Not yet, and we hope it will not. I think we all can agree. We are afraid of what it will become because we can see it. It's because of the other bad examples. It's freaking annoying when you like this show and you're afraid what it will become.
That's a fair point.
I do want to point this out in the comment section. Somebody called you out, Aziz. They said Aziz condemns Danny and his crew for emotional arguments, then proceeds to make an emotional argument.
Yeah, dude. I said in the beginning, when I will discuss not purely emotional. I can discuss some things with some objectivity and some subjectivity, and I will bring emotions because what makes a show like one of the things that a show tackles is human emotions. So you cannot deny emotions, but you cannot purely base your opinion on emotions, like 100% emotion, respect writer, and suck his dick. No, you cannot say that.
You hear that, Shuriken 313? You just got roasted.
Well, I want to say one thing, and I always say this whenever people bring the shonen argument to me, because a lot of people are like, well, what is an example of what a shonen could be, or a good shonen, or a shonen that I would consider to be good? And out of all the shonen I've read, I would still say that the king of shonens, and it's an underrated piece of art, and I love it to death, and I hope it got more attention, and it's by far Shaman King.
Oh, that's a classic.
Shaman King.
I remember those days.
Dude.
But they do go into like super powered, like we control the spirit realm and I'm gonna shoot a volcano worth fire with my like they do go insane.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not against overpowered shit. What I'm against though is making superpowered shit not dumb. And in that series in particular, the writing was in such a way that you didn't even notice there were superpowers. There were characters that were so powerful you cannot do anything. And that was fine. It didn't feel out of place. It felt like an obstacle that needs to be taken out. The main character did not get super OP powers that eventually made him win against the bad guy. No, it was just like they dealt with it, This is me. This is my power level. Even though I'm the main character, this is what I can do, though. I can do it diplomatically. I can do it emotionally. I can do it dramatically. And it would work. And it did. While in other shows, Naruto has to get a new power-up, a new technique that will help him beat this foe, or 1,000 punches. Well, you go back to Shaman King, and you see, and you're like, why is Yo the main character? Okay, he's good, he's powerful, but he's not amazing, and he's not overpowered or anything. And he's the main character because he just happens to be the main character of the story, and he's in the end the driving force behind the plot. But he's not overpowered. It's just way better presented, and I hope modern shonen writers and mangakas look at Shaman King as an example of what they need to at least be on par with, but they don't. And therefore, they suck. It's a business model. That's why Shaman King
as a great man called Trillion Pax once said, "Boobs do zero."
Hey, dude, don't steal my fucking quotes
on stream too. Wow.
I just said as the great Trillion Pax. I just
okay.
quoted.
Yes, dude.
Boobs do zero. It's about selling a merch. It's about
Yes.
Getting
fair enough.
Yeah, it's business, filthy business work.
It's okay though, Trillion. If you want to hear about a good shonen, the next time we get Jotun on here, he can tell you all about why Hitman Reborn is the greatest thing ever made.
Oh my god!
You know that show about the mafia, baby?
Oh my god! I still remember that day when my friend told me watch Hitman Reborn. I was new to anime, Okay, recommend me stuff. Watch Hitman Reborn. I could not watch past episode 4. Then I said to my friend, okay, the anime is boring. No, wait till episode 200. No, fuck you.
There's 200 of these?
He said watch kill, implying there is more when it becomes actually good. So he's actually saying there's more than 200, but you have to survive 200 till it's worth it.
That's
Yes.
that's the Gintama argument too, though, right? It's
No.
oh, it gets good
Yeah,
after episode 500.
If you
fuck
watch
did you just
Gintama
say?
for the fights, if you watch Gintama for the fights, a good example, you have to watch the highlights. It's like anime love. You cannot watch all 7 episodes 3 hours. You watch the highlights. Gintama is the same thing. If you want Gintama for the fights, you watch the highlights of the fights. You watch just, give me YouTube, give me story fights, and that's it. Like, I want to watch the fights. The fights of Gintama are amazing. Like, they do good work with the fights. But the anime is dumb. It's supposed to be dumb. It is a dumb anime, but I'm not gonna sit through gajillion episodes just to, whole lot. One episode is in the barber shop putting a dick inside of one guy's head. No, it's annoying. I'm not gonna power up through all of these episodes in order to see 5 fights. No. Like, you need to accept Gintama for what it is, a dumb show. Same goes for Reborn. It's not a great show, it's a dumb show. It's the same argument goes for the One Punch Man. It's not an action show. It's a dumb show, but it's a good dumb show. It's 24 episodes, goddammit, not 300. I can't power up through 24 episodes without getting bored. It's 24. It's not a lot. Like, not 300. I'm seeing one guy picking up his nose with his legs. No. It's fucking disgusting. It's annoying.
Well, maybe in the end, everything is just kind of bad, right?
I would like to say one thing. It warms my heart to see the comment section root and just start preaching, right? For Shaman King the second it got mentioned. Like, maybe you guys aren't as filthy as I thought you were. All right? Maybe I was wrong. Okay.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Fair enough. Okay, I retract my argument. Y'all are shit.
And on that note, I do have to end this. So I will go ahead and crown the MVC as Light Lelouch. He has been commenting a bunch of great stuff all stream long. And he seemed to be particularly invested in the hentai side of things.
Everybody is, goddamn.
So,
closing statements, everybody.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, Dark like you. I do Pokemon, and that's it.
yeah, you can put your channel in the comment section if you would like.
Yeah,
I have a question. I have a question for Louis. Why do you talk in this very deep, tone? I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Like,
this is
his parents are asleep. Of course.
It's the genes, man. And
like,
I have a lump in my throat right now.
I think if you drop this, you will sound like Marzia, PewDiePie's wife.
Probably. Wait, PewDiePie has a wife?
Yeah,
not yet. He doesn't.
I don't believe that. I'm gonna have to do my research and come back with the PowerPoint.
Dude, if you hear the Marzia voice, you will understand what I mean. She's annoying as hell.
That's besides the point. Khalid, closing statements, please.
I'm just wondering.
Okay, shut up. My closing comment is that hentai is an art form that has evolved into just degenerate sex, and that its old ancestor of deep plots and beautiful sensual lovemaking is gone, and I shall mourn its passing, and that Yahweh should be mainstream and should become the national media of Kuwait.
We're working on it. Is there a petition we can sign?
No, look, I'm stupid. I'm not suicidal. Yes, there's a very big difference in the two. You should make sure you know the difference.
It's hard
getting
sometimes.
Drunk at a party and getting blackout drunk and unconscious, that's stupid.
Okay.
Hey, back to the rape argument.
Of course, it's always back to rape with Khalid. I've known him for a while now. And like it's a full circle all the way back
Rape
to
is
rape.
a great metaphor for a lot of things. Rape and marriage are my two go-to metaphors.
Okay, this needs an entire stream on its own. I would like to thank everybody for showing up. My hats off to the stream. This was very entertaining as usual. We thank my friends Aziz and Khalid for sharing their wonderful knowledge on multitudes of topics. Everybody support the Khalid and Aziz shipping. It's going to be official soon. And yeah, it's Mike Stew, Louis. Like, wrap it up.
All right. I second that. And then I would like to thank all of you beautiful bastards for watching this video on a Friday night, Saturday morning when you have no lives whatsoever. And we hope you'll be back at the same time next week for a new episode of the Anime Law. We will see you guys next time.
Auf Wiedersehen.